Production by Liang Gu. The author of Peach Blossom Fan is Kong Shangren, a dramatist in the early Qing dynasty. In the 8th month of the reign of Emperor Kangxi, Dai Lianhua, feather scarf, Taoist robe, white beard, who is like me, Mr. Antique. It's neither jade nor copper, it's covered in batter. The remnant soul has no partner, so why hide when people laugh at you? Fill your chest with old hatred and wipe it away with one stroke. You can leave it wherever you drink and sing. The remnant soul has no partner, so why hide when people laugh at you? Fill your chest with old hatred and wipe it away with one stroke. You can leave it wherever you drink and sing. Son, filial piety and loyalty, everything is done well. Don't even think about eating ginseng fruit. There are no bandits or thieves in the mountains, and there are always gods on earth. I was originally a Zhanshi from Taichung Temple in Nanjing. My title is disrespectful and my name can be withheld. The happiest thing is that there is no misfortune. I have lived for 97 years and experienced many ups and downs. Went to Shangyuan Jiazi again. Yao and Shun came to the throne, and Yu Gao was in power. The people everywhere were happy, and the grains were abundant every year. Today is the 23rd year of Kangxi's reign, and we have seen 12 kinds of auspiciousness. Nei Qianjia, what kinds of auspiciousness are there? Chu Jijia, the river is out of pictures, Luo is out of books, the scenery is bright, the clouds are bright, the dew is falling, the rain is zero, the phoenixes are gathering, the unicorns are swimming, the pods are growing, the grass is growing, the sea is waveless, and the yellow river is clear. Everything is complete, why not congratulate you? I rejoice in the prosperous times. Travel everywhere. Yesterday I was in the Taiping Garden and read a new legend called The Peach Blossom Fan, which is about recent events in Nanjing in the late Ming Dynasty. Using the feelings of separation and reunion, the story depicts the feelings of rise and fall, which is realistic and well-founded. I have not only heard it with my ears, I have seen it with my own eyes. What's even more gratifying is that the old man's bad appearance was brought into the scene and he played a minor role. He made me cry, laugh, get angry, and scold me once. It was full of guests. How do you know that my husband is the person in the play? Inside, may I ask who wrote this good play? Answer, you don't know, but I always write lyrics about famous people, without any last names. However, depending on whether he is praised or criticized, the spring and autumn period must rely on ancestral traditions. It can be chanted or sung, but how can it be true that there is no chord instruction in the elegance of the song? Inside, in this case, he must be from Yunting Mountain. Answer, which one do you think is coming? Inside, today, at the Guanshan Club, we will perform this legend. You are still an old person. And if you have heard the new song, why not narrate the beginning and end of the legend in advance to clear your ears? Answer, there are lyrics to A Man Ting Fong written by Taoist Zhang. Let me ask for advice on the song, Man Ting Fong, young Master Ho Xing lives in Moling. It's just the beauty of the southern country, the slanderous words and the assassination, the Luan and the Phoenix spend the night together. It was another time when the world was turned upside down, and there were many vassal towns in Jianghuai. A faint leader is established, songs and dances are recruited, and the party's troubles arise from treacherous ministers. It's hard to renew a good relationship, it's fierce at the top of the building, and it's sinking at the bottom of the prison. But I relied on Mr. Su Wang and Mr. Lu to rescue Yin Qin. In the middle of the night, we run away from each other. Who will show their loyalty to Yanbo? The peach blossom fan and the altar were crushed into pieces, and I was confused with the fingers. Inside, wonderful, wonderful, but the melody is sonorous and I can't understand it at the moment. Please summarize it in a few sentences. Answer: let me tell you, the treacherous horse Wan Zhongwei hid his long sword, and the clever Liu Su came and went to draw the secret line. Master Ho cut off the relationship between the flowers and the moon, and Taoist Zhang concluded the rise and fall. Before the words were finished, the young master had already appeared on the scene. Please take a look. The first one is Tingzhan, Chongzhen Guiwei February, Lian Fang Chun, Xing Confucian dressed up. Beside Sun Chu Tower and on Macho Lake, there are a few more weeping poplar trees. It is a scenic spot in the country, where wine is sold in the setting sun to seduce tourists to enjoy it drunkenly. Learn from the Jinfen southern dynasties. I secretly thought that those birds and beasts were very important to their success and failure. Partridge Sky, the courtyard is quiet and the kitchen is cold, and I get up late from a cold sleep. The people of Moling are always looking at flowers, hurt the past. Writing new words makes me feel homesick and sleepy. I wonder who Yan Shui West Village will stay with this year. Xiaoxing's surname is Ho, his given name is Fangyu, his courtesy name is Chaozong, and he is a native of Guide, Zhongzhou. Yaimen genealogy certificate, Liang Yuan Guanchang. The ancestors are too often. My father, Situ, has long established the banner of Donglin. He selects poems in the clouds, submits essays in vain, and newly ascends to the altar of Fuxia. When he was young, his poetry became clear, and he exuded the fragrance of Song dynasty. In his middle age, his heroic spirit flowed into Su Hai and Han Chao. When one is near the palace of Yao Hua, it is preferable to give him wine. My home is near Luoyang County and I don't want to plant flowers. Since renewal last year, I have been living in Nanwixiati by the Macho Lake. The war smoke has not subsided, it is difficult to communicate with family letters, and it is mid-spring again before I know it. Look, the green grass sticks to the sky. Who is the companion who returns home? The yellow dust is the only one who avoids chaos. Sigh, don't worry, don't worry. Teach me how to live without worries. Fortunately, my friends Chen Dingsheng and Wu Ziwei live in Kai Sua's bookstore, and they often visit each other, so they are not lonely. Today I have an appointment to go to Yeqing Taoist Temple to see the plum blossoms together, so I need to go early. Lazy thrush, a warm breeze fills the countryside, and there are kitchens and jade pots in the flowers. The sound of flutes disturbs the hearts of the guests, and no one can go past Wui Lane, where there is a newly painted beam for a family with a different surname. Bottom. At the end, Xiao Xingru plays the role of Confucian scholar. Qinxiang, the king's energy in Jinling is gradually withering. Where are the drums and flags busy? Afraid to cross the spring river with plum willows. And Shaoxing Yixing Chen Jinhui is also. Shaoxing Gui Qi Wuingji is also. Mo Wenjia. Does the second brother know the news about the rogue bandits? Shaoxing, yesterday I saw the raids in the residence. The bandits defeated the officers and soldiers in a row and gradually forced the capital. Then Zhuo Liangyu, Marquis of Ningnan, returned to Xiangyang. There is no one in the Central Plains, and important matters can no longer be asked. Let us just wait and see the spring. Combine. The masterless spring floats, and the wind and rain destroy the pear blossoms at dawn. Introduction to the meeting in life, please. The two brothers from the club arrived early as expected. Shaoxing, how dare you break the appointment? And, the younger brother has sent people to clean the Taoist temple and treat them with wine. Vice President pretends to be a house boy and gets busy. During the cold season, the wine is too cold, and the flowers attract many people. Sir, I'm late, please come back. And, why are you late? Vice Jing, Mr. Su of the Wei Mansion wanted to treat guests to see flowers, and a large courtyard was already occupied. Is like this. It's also interesting to visit the Qinhuai Waterside Pavilion and visit the beauties. Shaoxing, I tell you, there is no need to go far. Brother, do you know that Lu Jingting of Taizhou is the most wonderful storyteller? He has been seen and admired by Fan Dasima of Wuqiao and Heluxiangguo of Tongqing. I heard that he stayed here. Why not go there and listen to it to relieve your spring sorrow? And, that's good. Angrily, that Lu Motzi has become the eunuch Ruan Huzi's new retainer. It's just that people like this tell stories and don't listen. Shaoxing, brother doesn't know yet. Ruan Huzi escaped from the net for the rest of his life and refused to retreat. He still cultivated his vocal skills here and befriended the court gentry. My younger brother made a post about staying in the capital to prevent chaos, and publicly denounced his crimes. Only then did the disciples know that he was Cui Wei and rebelled against the party. Don't wait for the song to end, the clothes will be scattered. This Lu Motzi is also among them, isn't it disrespectful? Shocked. Ah. I didn't know that there are heroes in this generation, and I should look for them. Introduced by colleagues. Qinxiang, Xianyuan plays the Xing recital in various ways. People live next to a deep cave, and they can read the vicissitudes of life with their leisurely eyes. Vice Jing, this is it, wait until I call the door. Call Jia, is Lu Motzi at home? Finally drink introduction, ouch. He is a famous person in the world, and he is called Prime Minister Lu. Fujing is also called Jia. Prime Minister Lu opened the door. Ugly little hat, sea green, white beard, dressed as Lu Jingting in the pavilion, moss grows on the door cover. It is said that the old woodcutter and fisherman came to the Taoist house. Meet the introduction. It turned out to be Chen and Wu, the two husbands. The old man was not welcomed. Ask Xingjia, who is this? End. Prime Minister Lu opened the door. Ugly little hat, sea green, white beard, dressed as Lu Jingting in the pavilion, moss grows on the door cover. It is said that the old woodcutter and fisherman came to the Taoist house. Meet the introduction. It turned out to be Chen and Wu, the two husbands. The old man was not welcomed. Ask Xingjia, who is this? End. This is my friend Ho Chaozong of Hunan, a well-known person today, who has long admired the conversation and came here to learn from me. Ugly, don't dare. Please sit down and offer tea. Sitting in the introduction, ugly, my husband is both a scholar and a gentleman. What about historical records and Tongjian? I didn't know him well, but I listened to the old man's common talk. Introduction, look. Qinxiang, the withered pine tree leans against the decaying wall in the abandoned garden. The spring rain is as fragrant as silk and the grass in the palace is fragrant. I am afraid of thinking about the rise and fall of the 6 dynasties. The drum board is gently placed, and the story is told with tears in the children's intestines. Born. Don't be too humble, just ask for advice. Ugly, since he was given the honor, the old man did not dare to refuse. He was afraid that the blind words of the novel would be difficult to understand. I have no choice but to tell you a chapter of the Analects of Confucius that my husband is reading. Student, this is also strange. What does the Analects of Confucius say? Cho Xiaojia, my husband can say it, but the old man can't. Today I have to pretend to be polite and say something to him. Sit down and beat the drum board to tell the story. Ask me what's going on living in the Green Mountains, smile without answering and feel at ease. The peach blossoms and flowing water disappear, and there is no other world than this world. Beating the wood to tell the story, I dare to tell you that what I said today is nothing else. It is the sin of the 3 families of Shen and Lu who deceived the king, and it represents the merits of the sage Confucius and his happiness. At that time, Lu Dao was in decline. People's hearts are full of robbers, so my master defends himself and rebels against Lu, and then he is happy to be righteous. The music officials suddenly realized this, and they were filled with regrets and regrets. They ran around one by one, turning the bustling theater with powerful officials into a cold place. Do you think the saints' methods are good or bad? Isn't it wonderful? Knock on the drum board and sing the introduction. Drum Lyrics 1. Since ancient times, saints have been capable of making waves, and they can summon wind and rain, and spread beans to make soldiers. I saw a group of rebellious ministers teaching me songs and dances in a disrespectful manner. I used some small tricks to make him energetic. A team of low-grade lackeys and slaves are lining up, and they have all become heroes of Qingfeng. Patting Xingmu to introduce, the Grand Master's name was Ji, and he was the first to get ready. Why is he suitable? Listen to me. Knocking on the drum board and singing the introduction. Drum Lyrics 2. Such a leader, Grand Master Ji, said, Ahem, why do I knock the Jingyang bell of the 3 houses? As usual, blind and wandering in the mud. Now I shook myself up to take a look. Dasha was walking towards the northeast, and he made a name for himself with Mr. Jingzhong. Confucius, who was in charge of happiness, forgot about the taste of meat for 3 months, and Duke Jinggong wiped his tears and listened attentively. The thief minister took the courage of the leopard and dared not go to Jiang Taigong's house to get the musicians. Pat Xingmu Shuajia, the name Qian in charge of Yafen is suitable for Chu, the name Liao in charge of Sanfan is suitable for Kai. The lack of the title of being in charge of 4 meals suited Qin. Why did these 3 people go too? Listen to me. Knocking on the drum board and singing the introduction. Drum Lyrics 3. This group of music officers who encouraged the meal had lost their leader, and everyone was looking for their own way to make their own way. Yafen said, There are bowls in the hall of the rebellious ministers, and I went to listen to him by playing and beating. Do you think who of our officers would dare to look for him when he goes to Qi State? I will also vote for King Xiongyi and rely on His Majesty. Sanfan said. Although Kaigua in Hunan is small, the majestic Central Plains is close to the capital. Sifan said, From afar, Western Qin has the spirit of an emperor. Although Kaigua in Hunan is small, the majestic central plains is close to the capital. Siphon said, from afar, Western Qin has the spirit of an emperor. I will go catch the zither in the strong barracks. They all said together, you lean on the gate post to call me every day. From now on, your brain will hurt if you smell my wind. Pai Xingmu Shuajia, the drummer's name was Uncle Fong, who entered the river. Wucha's name was Wu, who entered the Han dynasty. The young master's name was Yang, and the chime player's name was Xiang, who entered the sea. These 4 people have another way to get rid of them. Listen to me. Beating the drum board and singing the introduction. Drum lyrics 4. The 3 or 4 people who were beating the chimes and beating the drums said, I can't do it even if you leave this chaotic scene. You think the troubled man here is looking for his master elsewhere, and you're just afraid that he will be a lowly person and continue to do his old job. We are in a boat on Taoyuan Road. This is where the rivers and lakes are filled with a few fishermen. Shooting Xingmu Shosuk. These 4 people had a good trip, a wonderful trip, and an interesting trip. Did you hear what he said? Knocking on the These 4 people had a good trip, a wonderful trip, and an interesting trip. Did you hear what he said? Knocking on the drum board and singing the introduction. Drum lyrics 5. He said, 10 feet of coral reflect the sun red, pearls hold the crystal palace, and the dragon king stays in my palace for a banquet. That golden boy and beautiful girl are no different. The phoenix flute is like a pipe and the dragon sings softly, but we can only listen to it when it is played. The thief came to catch me by sneaking along the river, and the road was unknown for thousands of miles. There are no friends in the mountains and rivers. You see, my old brothers are everywhere. I have to break the paper window to see the world, but thanks to the God who brought me a pit of fire, the vast seas in the world turn into fields and fields into seas. My teacher father just closed his eyes and meditated on the 6 classics. After speaking, show your ugliness, show your ugliness. And, wonderful, wonderful. Now we should make handouts. How can it be so enjoyable? What a unique skill. Shaosheng, respect Ting just left the Ruan family. He refused to surrender to his master, so he showed up to speak out. Sheng, I think Jingting is a man of great character and free and easy-minded. He is a member of my generation. Storytelling is the only other skill he has. Jia Sanqing, Mo, Shaosheng, the dark red dust suddenly becomes bright. The hot spring light is cold for a while, and innocent people will make up their minds. Introduction to the same laughter. The laughter and scolding are full of ups and downs. The sound of the slap is gentle and sharp, and the 3 strokes of the fishing sun are generous. Ugly came to visit again, but the peach blossom was in the wrong place, so I asked my fisherman. Sheng Wenjia, yesterday we went out to Wanyamen. How many of our friends were they? Ugly, have all dispersed, and only Su Kuansheng, who is good at praising, still lives next to him. Sheng also wants to pay a visit, hoping to come with him and teach him. Ugly, worship naturally. Ugly. The sun has set where the singing rests, and, at the end, there are residual flowers that are fragrant across the courtyard. Shaosheng, there are countless buildings and countless grass. Sheng talks about hegemony and vastness. The second part, Chuanga, Guiwei February, autumn night moon. Xiao Danxian is dressed up as a bustard, Li Zhenli, Part 1. Her eyebrows are dark and the red building is not closed, the poplars hanging thinly at the end of the long plank bridge are tempting tourists to ride on them. Tie the zither strings tightly and make the sheng pouch skillfully. Pear blossoms are like snow and grass are like smoke. Spring is on both sides of the Qinhuai River. The makeup buildings in the area are close to the water, and the shadows of each house are reflected in the moonlight. My surname is Li, my surname is Junli. I am a member of the fireworks department, and a famous class in Fengyue. I grew up in the old courtyard, on the long bridge for greetings and farewells, and the plum blossoms have not faded. The charm remains. She was raised as a fake girl, gentle and slender, only to accompany the tortoiseshell banquet. She was subtle and shy, but she had not entered the hibiscus tent. The charm remains. She was raised as a fake girl, gentle and slender, only to accompany the tortoiseshell banquet. She was subtle and shy, but she had not entered the hibiscus tent. There is a dismissed county magistrate here, named Yang Longyu, who is the brother-in-law of Ma Shiying, the governor of Fengyang. I used to be a confederate of Guanglu and Wandishang. He often came to the courtyard to praise my child, and wanted to attract guests for his grooming. The spring is bright today, I dare to wait for the good times. Called Jia, is a servant girl who rolls up the curtains, sweeps the floor, and waits for the guests. Jia, got it. At the end of the painting, Yang Wen Song, Part 1, provided pictures of the scenery of the three mountains, and wrote inscriptions based on the style of the 6 dynasties. The lower official Yang Wen Song, whose cousin is Long Yu, is the magistrate of Ibang County. He has resigned from his. At the end of the painting, Yang Wen Song, Part 1, provided pictures of the scenery of the 3 mountains, and wrote inscriptions based on the style of the 6 dynasties. The lower official Yang Wen Song, whose cousin is Long Yu, is the magistrate of Ibang County. He has resigned from his post and is living idle. This famous prostitute in Qinhuai, Li Junli, is an old friend of mine. Visit him to chat. When you come here, you can't help but enter. Introduction. Where is Zhenyang? Meet the introduction, okay. You see, the plum blossoms have fallen, the willow threads are just yellow, soft and thick, and the spring scenery in the courtyard tells me how to entertain myself. Xiaodan, exactly. Please come to the small building to burn incense, make tea, and appreciate the poems. And, it's wonderful. Introduction to the climbing tower. There are birds in the cages with curtain patterns, and fish in the basins are protected by the shadows of flowers. Looking at the introduction, this is Ling Ai's makeup store. Where did he go? Xiaodan has not yet finished her makeup and is still in the bedroom. And, ask him to come out. Xiaodan calls out, come out, baby, Master Yang is here. Finally look at the introduction of poems on the 4 walls. They are all gifts from famous people, but they are also rare. Ing with hands behind the back. And, ask him to come out. Xiaodan calls out, come out, baby, Master Yang is here. Finally look at the introduction of poems on the 4 walls. They are all gifts from famous people, but they are also rare. Ing with hands behind the back. Qinxiang, Danyan makeup is put on, Zhang Mengui. The red Mandarin duck quilt just faded. The key point is that her lips are rouged and she hastily put on a bun. How can I replace this spring sorrow? Let me remember the new words. Meet the introduction. Good luck, sir. Last, I haven't seen you for a few days, and I am getting more and more beautiful. These psalms are not bad. Look at the introduction again, yeah. Famous officials such as Zhang Tianru and Xia Yizhong all had inscriptions and poems on them, and lower officials also often had a rhyme with them. Xiaodan presented a pen and inkstone to introduce. The last pen was introduced for a long time. I can't do it for him, so I just hide my clumsiness. Just write a few strokes of ink orchid to embellish the plain wall. Xiao Dan, even better. Looking at the introduction at the end, this is the fist stone painted by Uncle Lantian. Ah. Just write orchid next to the stone, or borrow his background. Introduction to the painting, Pudong tree silk pattern plain wall glow. Write a poem to a poet. The young leaves are fragrant, and the smoke marks are drunk in the rain. With one punch, the graphite flowers were broken into pieces, and a few moss stained the brickwork. Looking from a distance, I have to go as soon as I can. How can I compare to the people of Yuan dynasty who are more chic and elegant, and their names are exactly like Xianglan Pei? Xiaodan, Zenshin's famous pen brings a lot of color to my makeup store. And, laugh at you. Xiang Danjia asked for the title and signed it. Dan is young and has no number. Xiaodan just asked the master to reward him with 2 words. Mo Sijia, Zhuan says. Orchid has the fragrance of the country, and people admire it. How about calling him Xiang Jun? Xiao Dan, that's wonderful. Xiang Jun came over to thank you. Dan Baijia, thank you sir. Mo Xiaojia, even the name of the building is there. Signature, Chongzhen Guiwei Zhongchuan. I occasionally wrote about Mo Lan in Meixiang Tower, and Mr. Buxiang smiled. Guizhu Yang Wen Song. Xiaodan is good at both writing and painting, which can be said to be the best in both worlds. Thank you very much. Kuzusuk, and I think Shangjuan is the best in beauty, but I don't know what his skills are. Xiaodan. I have always been pampered and never learned. Just the day before yesterday, I invited a Qing guest to pass on his lyrics and music. And, is that one? Xiaodan is called Su Kuansheng. And, Su Kuansheng, whose surname is Zhou, is from Hunan and lives in Wuxi. I have always been familiar with him, and he is indeed a famous player. Ask the introduction, which set of lyrics and music was passed down. Xiaodan is 4 Dreams in Yumingtang. And, how much have you learned? Xiaodan has just learned half of The Peony Pavilion. Called Child. Mr. Yang is not an outsider, so he took out his songbook and reviewed it quickly. Wait until your master confronts you so that you can adopt a new accent. Dan frowned. There are guests sitting here, just learning to sing. Xiaodan, what a silly thing to say. We are from a family with dancing sleeves and singing skirts. Eat at Zhuangtuan. You don't want to learn songs, so you have nothing to do in your spare time. Read the introduction to the song by Dan. Qinxiang, Xiao Dan, was born in pink and white, jumped into the Yinghua team, and has a string of singing voices that are my money. Don't throw away red beans lightly. Learn from the dawn wind and the waning moon falls, slowly pat the red teeth, seize the Yichuan green, and tie the king's and grandson's bridle in front of the door. Clean the flat towel and pleats, pretend to be Su Kuansheng. When I am not busy, I come to the Tsueguan to play parrots, and when I am too lazy, I go to the Zhumen to see the peonies. I'm gushy Su Kuansheng. After leaving the Ruan Yamen, he went to a brothel. Isn't it better to be the tutor of this beauty than to be the helper of the adopted son? Unexpectedly, he entered the meeting room. Mr. Yang is here. It's been a long time. I'm Gushi Su Kuansheng. After leaving the Ruan Yamen, he went to a brothel. Isn't it better to be the tutor of this beauty than to be the helper of the adopted son? Unexpectedly, he entered the meeting room. Mr. Yang is here. It's been a long time. And, congratulations to Mr. Kuan. He took in a peerless disciple. Xiaodan, Master Su is here, and the child is greeted. Dan Baijia, pure, just don't have to work. Ask the introduction. Have you memorized the music you learned yesterday? Dan, memorized by heart. Jing, while Mr. Yang is sitting. Come with me for instructions. And, is about to learn. Jing and Dan sit opposite each other and sing. Zao Luo Pao used to be in full bloom, but like this it was left with ruined wells and ruined walls. Good times and beautiful scenery, but the sky is wrong, net, wrong. The word beautiful is on the same board, and the word nigh is on the board, and they cannot be continued. Come to another place. Good times and beautiful scenery are in the sky, and whose home is the pleasure. Flying in the morning and rolling in the evening, the clouds are green and the pavilion is green, the rain is falling and the wind is falling, net, is no longer the word, silk, is the first thing to do. Sing in your throat. The rain is falling, the wind is falling, the mist is painting boats. The people of Jinping find this time very despicable. Jing, wonderful. Yes, come down. Good sister, the cuckoos are singing red all over the green hills, and the tobacco outside the tea leaves is soft with alcohol. Although peonies are good, how can they take advantage of them when they return in spring? Jing, this sentence is a bit unfamiliar, let's say it again. Although peonies are good, how can they take advantage of them when they return in spring? Looking forward leisurely, the words of the swallows are as clear as the wind, and the sound of the orioles is round and round. Net, good. Another complete discount. Last to Xiao Dongjia, fortunately, your wife is smart, so she doesn't have to worry about being a famous prostitute. Xiang Jingjia, yesterday I met Ho Chaozong, the son of Ho Situ. He has a rich guest purse and is famous for his talents. Looking for famous ladies here. Does Mr. Kuan know? Jing, he comes from a well-established family in our hometown and is indeed a great talent. And, this marriage cannot be missed. Soa Chuanhan, it's a good time to break the melons and jade, sing charming songs, and ride on fine horses. Throw brocade around your head. Let's drink together hand in hand, use makeup and beautiful words to welcome the wedding. Equipped with his son's daughter's body, Ruan Lang will not be allowed to return every year, and he will buy a house with peach leaves and spring water. Xiaodan, if the young master is willing to comb it, it will be so tight. I just asked Mr. Yang to do his best to help me achieve this good thing. And, it's natural in the heart. And, Xiaodan, the beauty of a girl in the palm of your hand is hard to compare with. You can learn the new oriole's cries, and the people in the Springlock family are unknown. This kind of springtime cannot be wasted. Let's have a drink downstairs. And, interesting. Introduced by colleagues. And, the flower bed is full of flowers in front of Su Xiaoyan, Xiaodan, the orioles are singing and the swallows are lazy across the spring embankment. Duan, the cherries are wrapped in red silk net, it is good to treat Pan's car pass through the west lane. The third part, coaxing. In the third month of Guiwei, Fu Jing and Cho pretend to be on the second altar. Fu Jing, Zhu Do is heirloom to the household, Cho, grandfather. Fu Jing, each altar and sacrificial vessel has a number book, Yuji, check the number. Vice Jing, opens the door at the end of the lunar month and lights the candle, and Cho, sweeps the road. Vice Purity. Kneel down to welcome the sacrificial wine and enter the office early, ugly, don't miss it. Ugly, why do you just say such shameless words? Vice Purifier, you can say it, let me tell you. Ugly, the 4 seasons are closed to the household department, and Vice Jing boasts about wealth. Ugly, red walls and green tiles for the whole family, Vice Clean. Take a wife. Ugly, makes firewood with only a saw, Vice Jing, steals trees. Ugly, does not eat vegetarian food all year round, Fu Jing, pickles glutinous rice. Ugly, spit. If you don't pick it up well, your role will be revealed. Tong Xiaojia, we are the tenants of Nanjing Imperial College. After 6 months of hard work, today is mid-spring again. Taichung Temple has already sent the sacrifices, waiting for me to decorate them. Pie Table Introduction. Vice Net, Chestnut, Jujube, Gordon, Water Chestnut, and Hazelnut. Ugly, Cow, Sheep, Pig, Rabbit, Deer. Vice Purity, Fish, Celery, Greens, Bamboo Shoots, and Leeks. Ugly, Salt, Wine. Incense, Silk and Candles. Vice Purifier, there are not many of them. Look at them carefully and don't let the praisers steal them to make us regretful. The deputy pretends to be an old man and goes up secretly, sigh. It's enough if you don't steal, but it's up to us. Fu Jingingsuk. Offend, offend. I'm talking about those disgraceful husbands. The old gentleman is a gentleman, so there is no reason for him to steal his words. Deputy Vice President, stop talking, the sky has dawned, it's time, hurry up and light incense candles everywhere. Offend, offend. I'm talking about those disgraceful husbands. The old gentleman is a gentleman, so there is no reason for him to steal his words. Deputy Vice President, stop talking, the sky has dawned, it's time, hurry up and light incense candles everywhere. Ugly, is. Mixed with each other, bottom. Pink butterfly, with a what on the outside, pretending to be offering wine. There is smoke in the pine and cypress cage, and the first 2 steps of wax red hair. Playing music and singing, hanging in the hall. Holding silk and silk, offering sacrifices and wine, and recommending parsley early in the morning. At the end, he wears a crown and holds a scepter, pretending to be a secretary. Respectfully accompany Nanyong to pay homage to him. Foreign, this is the way to offer wine at the Imperial College in Nanjing. And, this is the business of going to court. Today is the Ding period of the Confucian Temple, and it is time to pay tribute. Separate introduction, Si Yuan Chun, Shaoxing's clothes and scarf, pretending to be wooing Jishang. When the ingu and drums meet at dawn, all the students gather in front of Wuxing altar. Enter 4 people pretending to be supervisors. 3,000 people are surrounded by rituals and music, and thousands of sages can be seen on the walls. Enter, wearing a full beard and crown, dressed as Rwanda Shang, wash your shy face. Mixed into a few feasts. Shaoxing Wuingji made an appointment with Yang Weido, Lu Bozong, Shen Kuntong and Shen Meisheng to come to offer sacrifices. Miscellaneous 4 people, Brother Tsiwei arrived a long time ago, so everyone lined up one after another. Vice President Rwanda Shang, who is under the command of the Vice President, lives in Nanjing and comes to watch the grand ceremony. Li Qian Liejie. Come in at the end of the deputy, sing the ceremony, arrange the class, and the class will be in order. Bow, prostrate, rise, prostrate, rise, prostrate, rise, prostrate, rise. Everyone bows 4 times in obeisance to the introduction. Weeping Yan Hui, together, on the top of the 100-foot green cloud, looking up, I can see the golden plaque inscribed by Chen, with the king's head arched, and Yan Zhang's 4 crowns. When the divine music is played, we pay homage to Tongqi and spread out our robes and wats. Reading poetry and books is worthy of Jiao Xiang, and I am afraid of the spiritual manifestations of ancient saints. After paying homage to Liejie, singing the ceremonial introduction, burning silk, the ceremony is over. Everyone bows to each other when meeting. Qinxiang, outer, last, to the north, ministers stand shoulder to shoulder, working together in the honor ceremony of spring dings. They tend to stagger and wear rings, and the herons rotate in order. Shaoxing, etc. Si Jian holds the beans. All the students of Lu were chosen by Hu Yan. Vice Jing likes to stay in the capital, relax and be free from work, but sighs at leisure, and celebrities are relegated. Mo Xia, Deputy Jing Gongjia, Shaoxing looked at it in surprise and asked Jia, "You are Wanhuzi, why do you come to offer sacrifices?" Mr. Tangtu. Insulting Sven. Drinking, get out quickly. Fu Jinkaji, I am a high-ranking Jinsher, representing a distinguished family. If I have sinned, I cannot be sacrificed. Shaoxing, your sins are known to both the government and the public. You are masked and dejected, yet you dare to enter the temple. Didn't I mention the root cause of your illness when I posted the post yesterday to prevent chaos? Vice Purity, I am trying to expose my feelings, so I came to offer sacrifices. Shaoxing, let me tell you what you think about it. Qinqiu Sui, Wei Zhegan and Haka Gan. It is inevitable to have words everywhere. The same Qi Chui Tian, the same Qi Chui Tian, the hot brothers compete to taste the feces, and the carbuncles are sucked together. A flying arrow is thrown in the east forest, and a long string is pulled in the west factory. How can it hide the eyes of others? Together, the iceberg of laughter is digested, and the iron pillar is overturned. Vice Purity. The brothers did not understand the difficulties and insulted me, but they knew that I, or Wan Yuan Hai, was originally Mr. Zhao Zhongyi's disciple. When the Wei party was tyrannical, I had not yet risen, and I had never harmed anyone. Where did I start from talking about these words? Front cavity. Feishuang's injustice is no better than Haipan's injustice, which is dealt with perfunctorily one by one. When I first met the loyal and virtuous, I saved the Zhou and Wei dynasties, and I was willing to demote my good reputation. Senior Kong Duishan once entered Lu Jin's house to save Li Kongtong. I had Choose Day the day before yesterday. It's only for the gentlemen of Donglin that you blame me. No one can see the spring lantern riddles, no one can defend us when we make 10 mistakes, and everyone condemns us. Introduction. I hate the frivolous newcomers and also talk nonsense. Shaoxing, it's easy to scold. Public. People like you dare to openly curse people in the Confucian temple, which is really counterintuitive. The deputy also calls Jia, it's the other way around. Let me, Lao Zanli, beat this traitor. Da Jia. Shaoxing palmed his mouth and teased his hair. Everyone picked their beards indiscriminately. Referring to scolding. Yu Xia is better, the eunuch has a son, then you can worship Wen Xuan. Insulting people and despicable behavior, desecrating the order of the monastery, and being ashamed of the class couplet. If our party beats the drum and spreads the message urgently, the attack will be far away. Pingwang will not be able to conquer the same state and county. Surrender to jackals and tigers and become idle pigs and dogs. Vice Jing, it's easy to fight, easy to fight. Referring to Deputy Ma Jia, even you old man Zanli beat me up. Vice President, I, the old man Zanli, am the only one who knows how to be harmonious. Fujing Kansasuk. It's extremely annoying to see people when all the beards have been plucked off. Ji Pao Jia. Red embroidered shoes are hard to beat with fists, punches. The arms are folded at the waist for no reason, and the waist is grasped. Hurry and hide, don't linger. Part 2, Niche, Public, distinguish the evil from the good, and identify the evil and the virtuous. The party members resisted the case and stood firm. And, back then, the situation was so fierce that it was pitiful to run away today. If the Confucian crown is beaten flat, one should burn one's pen and inkstone upon one's return home. Shaoxing, today's move makes Dong Linxue angry and brings glory to Nanjian. I feel so happy. From now on, if everyone works hard, we will not allow this generation to come forward again. Audience, yes, yes. Everyone performs a noble act of righteousness in front of the holy gate. Shaoxing, black and white must compete for the first place. Everyone is afraid that there is no final outcome in terms of victory or defeat. Shaoxing, governance depends on human affairs and chaos. The fourth episode, detective drama, Guiwei March. Double drinking, enter Vice King as Rwanda Shang with a worried look. The previous situation has been turned upside down. All the old people are gone. Their temples are stained. They are complaining and singing lazily. And being bullied by the currents. How can I get a high bed and a meal? The lower official is Rwanda Shang, also known as Yuan Hai. He is a talented poet and a famous poet. He is reciting poems in Guanglu, which is in line with the infantryman's love of wine. The golden liver and gallbladder refers to Gu Zhongyuan. The white snow is famous and travels to the country. It's a shame that you care so much about your wealth. There are many snobbish feelings. If you occasionally visit Wei's family, you will become one of your children and grandchildren. At that time, Quan Fei's fierce flames used him as a jackal. Today, the situation has been defeated, and only the owl in the withered forest is left. Everyone reviled and attacked everywhere. Think about it carefully. I, Rwanda Shang, am also a person who has read tens of thousands of books. How can I not tell the difference between a loyal person and a traitor? At that time, he was neither insane nor suffering from sweating evil. How could he make a mistake and become a member of the Wei Party? Just mentioning old things, I feel guilty and regretful. That's all. Fortunately, the capital city is spacious and accommodates many people. I have recently bought a big house in this crotch, with a cleverly built garden pavilion and a sophisticated teaching of singing and dancing. However, there are court gentry who are willing to pay the bills. No matter the material resources, redouble your efforts to welcome them. If you meet a gentleman and accept him out of pity, you will still be regarded as a reformed ghost. Whisper introduction. If God's way is good, there will be a day when the ashes of death will rise again. I have a beard. He doesn't care about his reputation either. It's simply going to be the opposite. This is no problem. Yesterday at the Ding Festival in the Confucian Temple, I suffered a severe humiliation from the youth of Fuxia. Although it was Meng Lang, I was too troublesome. But I don't know what to do. It's possible to get acquainted with someone so frivolous. Scratches one's head to think about the introduction. Bu Jiao, the handsome boys are all arrogant, forming cliques to bully famous officials, and there have been many disturbances. Pick off the beard of chanting and beat the wrist of writing. Wujixu is deeply resentful and makes me feel ashamed and embarrassed. The ugly person pretends to be a family member and holds the post. The place is remote and the crown cover is sparse, and the door is deep and separated by swallows and orioles. Sir, I have a message to lend you a play. Fu Jing read the post, and worshipped his younger brother Chen Jinhui. Shock introduction. Haha. This is Chen Dingxing of Yixing, who is very famous. He is a great young master. How could he be willing to borrow a show from me? Ask the introduction. How do you tell the person who came? Ugly. The visitor said that there were two other young masters named Fang Mi Ji and Mao Bijiang, both of whom were drinking wine at the Cock Crow Dai. I want to read the master's newly compiled Swallow Notes, so I came here to borrow it. The vice prince ordered the introduction. Go upstairs quickly, give out the fine clothes, tell the people in the class to comb their hair and wash their faces, and leave quickly with the suitcases. You can also take the post and follow. All must be carefully observed. Cho responded. Miscellaneous carrying boxes, all the actors went around the stage. Vice-Chancellor called Chojia, come around. Whisper introduction. If you go to his table and listen to what he talks about while watching the play, come and report it to me quickly. Ugly, is. Part 2. Fujing Zayasuk. Haha. Unexpectedly, they still have subordinate officials in their eyes, which is interesting and interesting. Sit in the study and listen quietly to the reply. Exit. Enter Yang Wen-song in the last turban. Zhou Lang listens to new music under the fan, and visits his old friend in the old boat. The next official is Yang Wen-song. I am a close friend of Yuan Hai's pen and inkstone. His music and lyrics are my calligraphy and painting. Their unique skills are passed down from generation to generation. I have nothing to do today, so I came to listen to his new poems by Yan Zi, and I couldn't help but fall in love. Introduction. This is Stone Chow Garden. Look at the rocks, flowers, and trees. The location is good. It must be the work of Zhang Nanyuan of Huading. Introduction. Wind into the pines. The flower forest is sparse and the rocks are colorful, and it is in the eyes of N.I. Huang. Look up and read the introduction. Yong Hui Tang, written by Wang Duo of Mengjin. Zansuk, the writing is powerful. See introduction below. A patch of red paved ground is where Gu Chu lives. There is a black towel on the shore of the thatched cottage, so you can point out the silver zither and the red board. Introduction. Over there is the depth of flowers. Why is it such a depression and seclusion? I dare to change new words and delete old ones. Litingjia. There was a faint sound of chanting, and Mr. Yuan was reading inside. Calling, Brother Fong, take a break, your life is at stake. Fu Jing came out and introduced with a big laugh. I asked who it was. It turned out to be Long Yu. Please sit down, please sit down. Sitting, end. Why is the house closed in such a beautiful time? Fu Jing, it is only because of the 4 legends that it is engraved at the moment. For fear of typos, I will read it here. And, just in time, I heard that Swallow Notes has been awarded to the Li Yuan, so I came here to appreciate it. Vice Purity. It just so happens that the whole class is not here today. And, where have you gone? Fu Jing, several young masters borrowed it to go on a trip to the mountains. And, let me teach you the notes, just as if you were drinking Han Shu. Vice-Chancellor Jingjia asked the servants to arrange a drink. I want to have a drink with Mr. Yang here. Inner nose. Mixed top row of wine and fruit introduction. At the end, Fu Jing drinks together and reads a book, Qinxiang. At the end, new words written carefully in Wu Silan are all gold rushes. Sand picking. Beauty with hairpins is in a slow mood. And the smoke makes the clouds lazy. Seeing this place is very emotional. This swallow holds the spring in its mouth and is afraid of the white poplar flowers and spots on the temples. Fu Jing, Wu Xian's slang tunes, humorous and generous. Rusuk, please have a drink. Same drinking introduction, ugly urgently. Pass on the casual words to report to those who are interested. Sir, I went to the cock-crowing platform, watched the wine being poured for 10 rounds, performed a play with half of it, and hurriedly replied to the conversation. Fu Jing, how are you guys coming? Ugly, the young men are watching the master's new play. Heaps of praise. Emergency 3 shots, nod and listen, hit the section to reward, stop the cup and watch. Vice Kasuk, wonderful. He actually knows how to appreciate things. Ask introduction, did you say anything? Ugly, he said that a true talent has an extraordinary pen. Vice Jing introduces in surprise. Ah. It is rare to fall in love like this. Asking, what else can you say? Ugly, Wen Kai, a heavenly official, relegated to the human world. He is good at teaching and dominates the show. Vice President Jing feigned fear. It was too much praise and it was hard for me to accept it. The more I looked back, the more I looked back. I don't know what to do yet. Instructing Jia to inquire again and get back to you as soon as possible. Cho anxiously exits. Vice Jing laughs loudly, unexpectedly. These young men are close friends. Rusuk, please have a drink. Oh. The southern dynasties can be seen through the ancient mountains and rivers. Looking through the romantic old cases, the lights and windows in the pavilion of the flower house are late, and I have vomited endless efforts. Every day I play the piano against the wall, and I appreciate my close friends. This is it. And, may I ask which group of young men are borrowing the show? Fu Jing, Yixing Chen Dingsheng. Tongxing Fong Miji and Rigao ventured to open up frontiers. They were both extremely knowledgeable, but he actually obeyed his younger brother. And they don't give permission lightly. The lyrics and music of Swallow Notes are really good, so what's there to say about it? Ugly urgently. It goes like a rabbit and comes like a flying crow. Master, the young man went to Cockcrow Die again, watched half of a play being performed, and the banquet was about to be finished, so he hurriedly replied to the conversation. Fujing, what did the young master say? Ugly, he said, Master, 3 quick shots. It's Nanguoxiu, Dong Linyan, Yutong class. Vice Jing pretends to be surprised, every one of them praises me, but he becomes more and more frightened. Ask the introduction, what else can you say? Ugly, he said why he surrendered to Chui Wei and destroyed himself. Vice Jing frowns and slaps the case in annoyance. There is only this little bit of talent, so there is no need to mention it now. Ask introduction, what else can you talk about? Ugly, there are so many words that even a villain would not dare to speak. Vice Purifier, but it doesn't matter. Ugly, he said that the master called him his biological father and his son, which made him look embarrassed. It's just relying on human power, like a dog. Fujing Nusuk, yeah. It's amazing that he started scolding me. It makes me so angry. Wind into the pine, what does the wind and the moon in Pingzhong have to do with it? It helps you see the flowers facing each other, and the new voice is full of praise. Instead of explaining my feelings, I added some evil banter and venom. This kind of bullying is hard to bear. And, may I ask why you are scolding? Fu Jing, even my younger brother didn't understand. The day before yesterday, he paid a visit to the temple and received a severe beating from 5 scholars. I had a good time today and was scolded severely by these 3 young masters. If you don't find a way from now on, how can you get out? Chou Jia. And, the eldest brother doesn't have to worry, but the younger brother has a way. I had a good time today and was scolded severely by these 3 young masters. If you don't find a way from now on, how can you get out? Chou Jia. And, the eldest brother doesn't have to worry, but the younger brother has a way. I don't know if he is willing to follow it. Fujo Kisuk. This is so wonderful, how could I not follow it? And, brother, do you know that Wu Ziwei is the scholar leader and Chen Dingsheng is the leader of the Sun Squad? The 2 generals have withdrawn their troops and thousands of troops have been disarmed. Vice Jingpai case introduction, yes. Ask introduction. But I don't know who can give me advice. And, no one else is useful except Ho Chaozong of Hunan, who is a close friend of the 2 gentlemen and listens to everything they say. Yesterday I heard that Ho Sheng was bored at home and wanted to find a beauty from Qinhuai. My younger brother has already found someone for him. His name is Xiangjuan, he is excellent in color and art, and he is exactly what he meant. The eldest brother was willing to give him the money to comb and win his favor, and then asked him to combine it in 2 places, ensuring that he could capture both at one fell swoop. Vice Jing clapped his hands and smiled, wonderful. What a plan. Want to introduce? This Ho Chaozong is my nephew, so he should take care of it. Ask for introduction, but I don't know how many applications it has. And, the dowry and banquet cost about 200 gold, which is quite abundant. Fujing, it's not difficult, just send 300 gold to your residence. It's convenient for you to be in Pingjun district. And that eliminates a lot. And who can climb the weak willow of the White Gate? Vice Jing, literary wine, music and songs are all in leisure. And only beauties say wonderful tricks. Fujing, Pingjun buys dye to paint spring mountains. The 5th chapter, Visit Chui. In the 3rd month of Guiwei. On Xingli's clothes, the gold powder has not disappeared, the fragrance of the 6 dynasties can be smelled, and the tobacco is everywhere in the world, which breaks people's hearts. I am afraid that I will miss the chance of spring due to wind and rain. Shaoxing Ho Fangyu, his book and sword are floating in the air. There is no day to return home. On the sunny day of March, I stayed at the place where the beauties of the 6 dynasties lived. Although the guest situation was terrible, I couldn't hold back my spring mood. Yesterday, I met Yang Longyu and praised Li Xiangjuan for her youth, beauty, and health. Now Su Kuanxing teaches him how to play songs, and also comes to persuade me to comb my hair. It is difficult to do anything good if you argue with others and ridicule them. Today is the Qingming festival, and I was bored sitting alone, so I couldn't help but take a walk and went to the old courtyard to visit. Why not? Introduction. Jintang Road, Wangpingkang, east of Fengsheng, thousands of green poplars. Purple silk rains guide wanderers all the way, and who has both breasts and swallows. Jintang Road, Wangpingkang, east of Fengsheng, thousands of green poplars. Purple silk rains guide wanderers all the way, and who has both breasts and swallows. Ugly disguised as Lu Jingting on the pavilion, the oriole is startled by its dawn dream, and its spring sorrow is born in vain. Calling for introduction, where can Mr. Ho take a leisurely stroll? Sheng turned around to see Jia. It turned out to be Jingting. It was a good time to come. I was going to the east of the city for an outing, but I had no one to accompany me. Ugly, the old man has nothing to do, so he can be with you. Pure introduction, ugly reference introduction, that is the Qinhuai Water Pavilion. Sheng, spring waves separate, and green smoke stains the windows. Leaning against the sunny sky, red apricots peek into the wall. Ugly Jijia, this is a long bridge, let's walk slowly. Sheng, Banxiao is the leader of the area, and he can point out the tea houses and wine boats at leisure. Ugly, unknowingly, I came to the old courtyard. Sheng, hearing the sound of selling flowers, he is busy. Pass through all the deep alleys. Ugly Jijia, this alley is full of famous sisters' houses. Sheng, it is indeed different. Look at the black double doors, and a delicate yellow willow with dew is inserted. Cho Jijia, this high-ranking man. It's Li Zhenli's family. Sheng, let me ask you, which door does Li Xiangjuan live in? Ugly, Xiangjuan is Zhenli's daughter. Meow meow. I was about to visit him and happened to be here. Ugly, wait for me to knock on the door. Knock introduction, that one? Ugly. Lao Lu, who often comes around, accompanies distinguished guests to pay their respects. Inside, Zhenyang and Sister Xiang are not at home. Where did Ugly go? Inside, I'm making boxes at Aunt Bian's house. Ugly, exactly, I forgot, today is a grand event. Born. Why do you have a meeting today? Cho pats his legs. My legs are tired from walking, so I'll take a break on this stone ledge and tell you calmly. Sitting together, ugly, my husband doesn't know that a famous prostitute in this courtyard has become a handkerchief sister. Just like the Incense Brothers, they hold a grand gathering every time the season comes. Junu tea silver lamp, the nodding of luapa, fireworks, and flying geese. On the festival day, we all wear new makeup. Sheng, yes, today is the Qingming festival, so we all go to the meeting. But I don't know why it's called a box meeting. Ugly, on the day he went to the meeting, he each brought a box containing fresh and exotic items, including haikuo, jiangyao, and yuyijin. What do students do during the session? Ugly, everyone compares their skills, playing the piano and ruan. The sound of sheng and shao is loud. Sheng, it's so interesting. Maybe the younger ones will join the club? Ugly shakes hands. No, no, no. The most fearful thing is that the children will make trouble, lock the door of the building, and only allow people to admire it from downstairs. Student, how to meet someone you like. Ugly, if he likes it, he will throw things upstairs, and he will also throw fruits upstairs. Quite unexpectedly, he flew over to hold the wine and made a secret appointment in the hibiscus brocade tent. Sheng, in this case, it's easy for Shaoxing to leave. Ugly, if he likes it, he will throw things upstairs, and he will also throw fruits upstairs. Quite unexpectedly, he flew over to hold the wine and made a secret appointment in the hibiscus brocade tent. Sheng, in this case, it's easy for Shaoxing to leave. Ugly, why not take a walk? Sheng, I wonder where the Bien family lives. Ugly, lives in Nuankui building, not far from here, even if we go together. Xingjia, the tomb sweeper Jia Lu, ugly, played the flute everywhere. Yinghua Somli Lane, ugly, Yanshui 2 bridges. Referring to. This is it, sir, please come in. Come in together. The last person is Yang Wen Song, the net person is Su Kuansheng, and they come up. The end, I'm spending time with the Orioles. The net, I'm looking at Fendai from afar. Around. Meet the introduction, and, how can Brother Hosher be willing to come here? It's so rare. Born. I heard that Brother Yang went to see Wanhuzi today and didn't want to meet him here. Jing, came here especially for Mr. Ho's happy occasion. Ugly, please sit down. Sitting together. Xing Wangsuk, what a nuankwalu. The sound of wild geese passing by, look closely, the window is bright and the courtyard is wide open. Come to gentle sleeping country early. Ask the introduction, why is Li Shangjuan missing? And, now at the top of the building. Jing's Haiji, look, there's a show of skill at the top of the building. I play the sheng and flute inside, and I listen to the instrument inside. The luan, sheng, and phoenix pipes sound in the clouds. I play the pipa and zither inside. Sheng ting jia, the strings are melodious. Song ting jia, the jade rings. Each sound disturbs my soft intestines. Blowing the flute inside, blowing the flute inside. Sheng ting jia, soaring twin phoenixes. Shouting, these few sounds of the flute make me lose my soul. Shaoxing couldn't help but feel excited. Take the fan pendant and throw it upstairs. The exotic wind from Hainan is blowing, trying to tickle the bowtie's heart. Putting down the cherry wrapped in white sweat towel inside, ugly, interesting and interesting. Here comes the fruit. Introduction to the sweat-clearing towel and the cherries on the plate. It's strange that there are cherries now. Sheng, I don't know who threw it. If it was Mr. Xiang, wouldn't he be happy? Look at the introduction at the end of taking the sweat towel. Look at this ice silk sweat towel. 9 points are his. Xiaodan pretends to be Li Zhenli and holds a teapot, and Ling Shangjuan holds a vase. Xiaodan, the vanilla follows the butterfly fan, and the beauty comes off the phoenix stage again. Jing Jing Ji Jia, it all depends on the lower realm of heaven and man. Ugly gas show Suk. Amitba. Introduction from the crowd. Introduction from Mo La Sheng, brother, recognize this. This is Zhenli, this is Xiangjuan. Xingjian Xiaodanjia, Ho Chaozong of Hunan, a young man, has always longed for it, and now he has fulfilled his wish. Seeing Dansuk, she is really young and beautiful. Mr. Long's appreciation is really discerning. Sitting, Xiaodan, Qiu new tea, brew it to worship. Pouring tea, everyone drinks. Dan, green poplars and red apricots decorate the new festival. Public praise, interesting and interesting. Cooking tea and looking at the flowers can be called an elegant gathering. End. Such an elegant gathering cannot be without wine. Xiaodan, the wine has been prepared. The host of the meeting in Yujing is not allowed to go downstairs to accompany me. I'm a humble concubine. I'll take the place of Dong. Calling for introduction, Bauer is here to drink. Enter Zadi wine. Xiaodan, why don't you give me an order and let everyone have a drink? Ugly. Waiting for the master to perform. Xiaodan, how dare you overstep your bounds? Jing, this is an old practice in the courtyard. Xiaodan takes the dice penji, I'm offended. Calling Jia, Mr. Xiang holds the cup and waits for me to pay homage to you. Everyone obeyed the order. Xiaodan Zunlingji, the wine should be drunk in sequence. Each cup is dry and each contributes its own merit, which is the bottom of the wine. The first one is cherry, the second one is tea, the third one is willow, the fourth one is apricot blossom, the fifth one is incense fan pendant, and the sixth one is ice silk scarf. Calling Jia, Xiangjuan Jingho Xianggong wine. Danpu Shenjianji. Xiaodan throws the color, Xiaodan throws color, is the incense fan pendant. Jia Jia, Mr. Ho, please drink this glass quickly. Please tell me the bottom of the wine. Shenggao Qianjia, Shaoxing just writes a poem. Yin Jia, it is worn by beauties from the southern country. It is hidden in the sleeves of the monks. It is followed by the shadow of the man's fan, shaking the whole body with incense. End. Good poem, good poem. Ugly, it's a nice fan pendant, but I'm afraid the swing will break. Xiaodan, it's time to serve wine to Mr. Yang. Dan pours, Mo-in introduces. Xiaodan throws introduction, is an ice silk sweat towel. End. I also wrote poetry. Xiaodan, no similarities are allowed. End. Forget it, let me lower my official rank and make a question. Nian Jia, the beauty of spring is so sultry when you see something that wipes your sweat. The sweat staining the towel must be due to the growth of spring. He's face is wiped with ice silk, when the red pigment is exposed. Isn't it also very cute? A wonderful chapter. Ugly, it's such a good literary talent, it should have been in 2 rankings. Dan Choujio is introduced, Master Lu invites you to drink. Xiaodan throws color, it's tea. Ugly drinking introduction, I am a humble person. Xiaodan Xiaojia. No, the base of your wine is tea. Ugly, just wait until I tell Zhang Sanlang to have tea. Xiaodan, the story is too long, so it would be better to tell a joke. Ugly, just tell jokes. Introduction. Su Dongpa and Huang Gushan visited Zen Master Foyan. Dongpa gave me a Ding porcelain pot, and Gu Gu gave me a pound of Yangxian tea. The three of them were drinking tea under the pine tree. Foyan said, Huang Xiuzai is famous all over the world for his tea addiction, but I don't know how much Su Huzi's tea capacity is. Why not have a fight today? Separate who is older and who is younger. Dongpa said, how to fight. Foyan said, if you ask Ji Feng, ask Huang Xiuzai to answer. If he can't answer, I'll give you a stick and I'll mark it down. The beard has beaten the scholar. If you can't answer. I also took a stick from Huang Xiuzai, and I made a note, the scholar had his beard beaten. Finally, beat it and eat a bowl. Dongpa said, it's up to you. Dongpa asked first, how to thread a needle without a nose. Gu Gu replied, grind the tip off the needle. Foyan said, that's a good answer. Gu Gu asked, how can I get the gourd without it? Dongpa replied, throw it into the water. Foyan said, that's a good answer. Dongpa asked again, the lice are in my pants, can I see them or not? The valley didn't have time to answer. Dongpa held a stick and beat him. Gu Gu was pouring tea from a pot when he accidentally dropped it and smashed it to pieces. Dongpa shouted, monk, remember, the beard has beaten the scholar. Foyan laughed and said, listen to the soldiers bang. The beard didn't hit the scholar, but the scholar hit the pot instead. Everyone laughs. Ugly, stop laughing, everyone. A scholar has many advantages and disadvantages. Playing the pot, even a hard pot like this will be broken, let alone a soft pot. Respect the elderly and wonderful people. Casual and humorous, they are all witty. Xiaodan, Mr. Xiang, haste to your master. Dan Powers, Jinjianji. Xiaodan throws Jia, is the apricot flower. Jing Changjia, the apricot blossoms in the evening makeup upstairs are still there, and I feel ashamed of my clothes. Dan Xiang Ziadanji. The child toasted his mother. Xiaodan drinks dry and throws it out, it's a cherry. Jing, let me sing for you. Singing introduction, cherry blossoms are red, jade and japonica are white with dew, and the dialect is correct for a while. Ugly, Kun Sheng deserves his punishment, singing with cherries on his lips. Not the cherry on the plate. Net, receive punishment. Pouring one's own drink, drinking one's own drink. Xiaodan, it's time for Mr. Xiang to pour one's own drink. Treat young students with respect. Damianji. No need to guess, it's Lu, Xiangjuan is singing. Dan Shijia, Xiaodan. The child is shy, so please hire a ghostwriter. Throwing introduction, 3 o'clock, it's Master Lu. Net, good. Today is his day on duty. Ugly, my old man's surname is Lu, and I have been living for half my life. What I fear most is the word Lu. Today is the Qingming festival. Just put a willow ring around my old dog's head. Everyone laughs. Jing, forget your joke. The raw wine is already here, please leave. Ugly, it is rare for talented people and beautiful women to gather together. Rasheng, Dansuk, you too. How about having a heart-to-heart drink? Dan is ashamed, cover under the sleeves. Jing, Mr. Xiang has a tender face, and it is difficult to talk about it in person. Do you agree with me about the combing and matting you ordered the day before yesterday? Sheng Xiaojia, if a scholar becomes the #1 scholar, there is nothing he won't do. Xiaodan. Since you will not give up, if you choose an auspicious time, you will have to follow the concubine. And, this March 15th, the flower moon is a good day, so it is easy to get married. It's just one thing. The guests are so shy that it may be difficult to prepare a gift. Last, there is no need to worry about this. We will prepare a dowry and a banquet. Wait for the younger brother to come. How can we be so tired of each other? Last, should be effective. Thank you very much. Xiao Taohong mistakenly walked to Wu Peak and thought about it, forgetting about her fairy appearance in a hurry. The spring night, the flowers and the moon become a lie. It's hard to pass up a good relationship once you get it, so I'm preparing to go to Gaotang. Making a CI introduction. Xiaodan will no longer stay. On the 15th day, we will invite guests and sisters and play music to welcome the bride. Xiaodan exits, ugly Xiang Jingsuk. Ah. Forgot. We too are not allowed to accompany you. And, why? Jing, General Huang's boat anchored at the west gate of the water. He also offered sacrifices to the flag on the 15th and invited us to have a drink. Sheng, what's going on? And, there are also Ding Jiji, Shen Gongxian, and Zhang Yanzhu. They are all guests of the Qing dynasty. Let's take advantage of their company. Jing, the warm green building in front is fragrant with pink and white flowers, and the late 6th dynasty style is said to be average and healthy. Ugly, the spring is still light after returning from an outing. Born, tomorrow the bed will be full of flowers. The 6th chapter of Minxiang, Guiwei March. Linjiang Ferry, Xiao Dan in gorgeous makeup, a short spring shirt with double-rolled sleeves, playing a zither in the flowers and lost in the building. At present, all the embroidery curtain hooks are used, but the golden thread willows are not used to block the Mulan boat. I am Li Junli, just because my son Shangjuan is old enough. There is no one combing, and I feel uneasy day and night. Fortunately, Yang Longyu recruited a young man from an aristocratic family for me, namely Ho Chaozong, who was drinking the day before yesterday. Today is an auspicious day, so we have a big banquet. There was a wide array of music, all the guests were present, and all the sisters came, so it was very effortless. Calling Jia, Bauer's place. Miscellaneous pretending to be a baby boy and fanning slowly, in front of the banquet, we say funny words and listen to the love sounds in the flowers. When the mother calls the baby, will she give her a quilt and pillow? Xiaodan angrily introduces, Sai. Sister Xiang is here today, and a noble person is about to arrive, but you are still dreaming. Quickly roll up the curtains, sweep the floor, and arrange tables and chairs. Miscellaneous, that's right. Xiao Dan points out the table arrangement. A flower, on the last new clothes, the garden is as red as embroidery. The beauty is covered with Wenjun's wine. The golden peacock is spread out, surrounding the spring day. Wash the golden pot and light the incense beast. This is Long Hongxiu, who is the gentlest. La and Xiangru can bear it. The lower official Yang Wensong was entrusted by Yuan Hai to deliver the comb. Calling, where is Zhenyang? Xiaodan Jianjia, thank you very much for your help. Everything is ready for the wedding. Ask the introduction, why haven't the officials seen you yet? And, I think it will come soon. Laughter, the lower official has several boxes and cages. He helps Mr. Xiang make up and teaches others to move them. Carrying the miscellaneous boxes, cages, jewelry, and clothes. The last command was to introduce, carry them into the bridal chamber and lay them out neatly. Part 2 of miscellaneous responses. Xiaodan Zixiji, how can you spend so much money? Thank you, sir. Mashio Dianji, there is also 30 taels of silver for the banquet. Leave it to the kitchen. When the wine is mixed, everything will be rich. Xiaodan became more and more unable to afford it. Calling Jia, Xiangjuan, come quickly. Dan Xingzheng puts on makeup. Xiao Dan, Master Yang rewarded many things and came forward to thank me. Dan thanks the introduction, and, some things need to be done lightly. How dare you thank me? Please come back, please come back. Introduction immediately. Urgent reporting, the new official has arrived. Xingxing obeys the people. Although he is not a guest of Kadi Tianbian, he is also a native of Chang'es Moon. At the end, Xiaodan welcomes the introduction. At the end, congratulations, brother. I won a beautiful lady from Pingkong, but my younger brother showed no respect for her, so I made a hasty dowry and prepared a banquet to spend the night enjoying herself. How can one overcome one's difficulties when one has to go through many things one after another? Xiaodan, please sit down and offer tea. All sitting. Bringing tea and drinks. End. Are the arrangements for the wedding banquet ready? Xiaodan, thanks to the master, everything is perfect. Mo Xiangxing Gongjia, today is an auspicious feast. I don't dare to help you, so I say goodbye. I'll come tomorrow morning to say hello. It's okay to sit together. End, inconvenience. Inconvenient. Don't get off. Miscellaneous, please ask the new officer to change his clothes. Sheng changing ji. Xiaodan, I am not allowed to accompany you. I just dress the bride for the officials and serve the wedding wine. Don't get off. Vice Jing, Wei, and Jing pretend to be the 3 pure guests, a lifetime of flowers, moon, and 3 shadows. Li Hong, a 5-character palace merchant. Fujing, I am following Ding Jiji. Outside, sinking Gongxian. Jing, I am Zhang Yanzhu. Vice Jing, today I have Mr. Ho's wedding banquet, so I have to arrive early. Jing, I don't know if I can invite those virtuous singers to accompany me. Outside. It is said that there are a few veterans from the old hospital who are good at it. Jing, these are all done by me. Vice Jing, you have a lot of private property, and you have to comb it a lot. Jing, everyone has a helper. Look at how Mr. Ho has spent. It is said that there are a few veterans from the old hospital who are good at it. Jing, these are all done by me. Vice Jing, you have a lot of private property, and you have to comb it a lot. Jing, everyone has a helper. Look at how Mr. Ho has spent a penny today. Outside. Don't talk too much. Mr. Ho changes his clothes in the hall and everyone goes to bow. Everyone and the students bowed. Everyone, congratulations, congratulations. Sheng, borrow the light today. Enter Xiaodan, Laodan and Cho dressed as 3 prostitutes. Love is like grass and one is drunk all day long. The body is as busy as a poplar flower. See introduction. All the geishas that Jing summoned signed up. Ugly, are you the Jiafang secretary? You asked me to sign up. Sheng Xiasuk was about to ask the tuba for advice. Lao Dan, Bian Yujing, a cheap concubine. Born. Sure enough, Fairy Yujing. Xiaodan, Ko Bai Men, a cheap concubine. As expected, the white door is like willow. Ugly, Zheng Tuanyang of the slave family. Sheng Chenianji, it is indeed appropriate. Net, it's inappropriate, it's inappropriate. Outside, what's wrong? Net, a good thief. Ugly, bah. If I don't cheat, how can you eat so fat? Everyone laughs. Lao Dan, the officials are here. Please quickly ask Mr. Xiang to come out. Xiao Dan, Mr. Cho Fu Xiang, outside, let's have fun to welcome you. Fu Jing, Jing, Wai Chui de Shirban Jia. Sheng. As soon as I see you. Ugly, the rules in my courtyard are that if you don't want to worship, you can just have wedding wine. Sheng and Dan sit on the top. Fu Jing, Wai, and Jing sit on the left. Xiaodan, Lao Dan, and Cho sit on the right. On the miscellaneous pot, serving wine on the left, playing guitar on the right. Preface to Liang Zhou, born, Qi Liang's Poems and Poems, Chen Sui's Flowers and Willows, every day is full of love and amusement. Leaning against the green shirt, this time Xiaodu is in Yangzhou. Thinking about the beauty, giving advice on how to play the flute, starting from spring. The scholar is thirsty and sick and needs urgent help. It was the setting sun and I came downstairs late, having just had a glass of wine. Serving wine on the right, playing music on the left. Qinxiang, Dan, the flowers on the balcony trembled, the curtains trembled in the wind, and the majestic figures leaned on them. The love of spring is endless, and the golden hairpin is willing to comb your hair. Leisure flowers add beauty. The wild grass is fragrant, and the lady is doing it. Tonight, the lights and shadows are so red that I should be ashamed to see them commonplace. It is really difficult to solve the problem. Vice Jing, look at the red sun holding the mountain, and the crows choosing the trees. Send the newlyweds back to their rooms quickly. Outside, and don't be busy. Nowadays, the talented people of the Ho Guan family have combed and seduced the most beautiful women, and there is wine and joy. How can they be in love without poetry? Jing, makes sense. Wait for me to polish the ink and brush the paper, and wait for me to write the brush. Sheng does not need poems and notes, but a young student has a palace fan handle. Just give it as a gift to Mr. Xiang, and it will always be a token of alliance. Ugly, wonderful, wonderful. I'll hold the inkstone. Xiaodan, looking at your face, I have no choice but to take off my boots. Lao Dan, this inkstone should be borrowed from Mr. Chongxiang. Audience, yes. Dan holds an inkstone and writes books and fans. Zhong Nianjia, there is a sloping path along the Zhulu Road, and Wang Sunchu drives Fu Ping's chariot. The green stream is full of peach and plum trees, not as good as the peach and plum blossoms of Dongfeng. Audience, good poetry, good poetry. Xiangjuan accepted it. Danshofangxiu agency, ugly. We are not as good as peach and plum blossoms, how can we be cine trees? Pure, cine trees are like dead trees that come back in spring. Ugly, now spring comes with dead trees, but flowers once came with rain. On a piece of poetry paper, Mr. Yang has sent a poem. Li Xiang was born in Shaoqingcheng, and she was graceful in her arms and hidden in her sleeves. Why did the 12 Witch Peak girls come to see the king of Chu in their dreams? Sheng Xiaojia, this old and passionate man sent me a poem to urge people to make up. It's wonderful, wonderful. Net. The graceful figure in her arms is hidden in her sleeves. When Xiang Jun touched his figure, he saw that he had an incense fan pendant. Ugly, his incense fan pendant is worth several cents, but how can it compare to my amber cat pendant? Everyone laughs. Vice Jing, let's start playing. Advise the newlyweds to drink a few more drinks. Ugly, just bring some wine to get into the bridal chamber. Blowing the bombs left and right, handing over wine to students and Dawn. Higher and higher, Sheng and Dan, gold bottles and wine chips, endless persuasion, sinking into jade after dusk. Hand in hand privately, eyebrows dark and sorrowful. Fragrant and thin. The spring night lasts forever, how can you untie the hibiscus button in front of others? I hope that when the lights are dim and the feast is over, all the dripping from the palace pot will drain out of the lotus. Vice Jing, you listen to Qiaolo's second drum. It's too late, so please leave the table. Jing, such a good table. Wouldn't it be a pity to take it away without eating it all? Ugly, I haven't eaten enough, please wait a moment. Lao Dan, don't mess around anymore. Let's play some music and send the newlyweds into their rooms. The crowd rises to play and play 10 times to send off students and introduce Danjia. Qinxiang, combined. I went down to the painting building with Xing Xiao and spent the time in the clear air. The lights were blurry like a spring day. Meeting Wan and Lu on Tiantai's show, they are a true couple. The heavy brocade tents were filled with fragrance, and others frowned with jealousy. Being drunk and supporting others is too romantic, and being greedy for flowers brings blessings to you. Za holding the lamp, Sheng and Dan holding hands. Jing, we are all in pairs, let's go to bed. Ugly, Lao Zhang, don't have any delusions. I, Lao Tua, want cash in cash. The net amount is 10 cents, pull the introduction. Ugly takes the money and counts it again, exchanges it for a lower price. Ending, together, the smoke and moon over the Qinhuai River are neither new nor old, and the greasy and fragrant powder flows eastward, and the love of spring lingers every night. Vice Jing, Jiangnan is full of flowers and water, Shaodan, people go to Qinhuai to relieve their worries. Outside, no matter how far away the family is, Lao Dan. At 5 o'clock in the morning, there is a singing voice in my arms. The 7th chapter, Kui Lian, Gui Wei March. Miscellaneous disguised as Bauer and put it on the toilet. Turtle urinates, and turtles pee out. Turtles' blood, transform into turtles. Turtle urine and turtle blood cannot be distinguished. Turtle blood and turtle urine. can't explain clearly. If you can't tell the difference, you are confused with your biological father. If you can't explain clearly, you are confused with your biological uncle. Laughter, nonsense, nonsense. Yesterday, Sister Xiang was in trouble for half the night. Today I got up early and had to clean the toilet and empty the pot, which was too busy. Those lonely old men and cousins have been holding each other for who knows how long. Introduction to cleaning the toilet, night boat, and I stayed in Pingkong in the deep willow alley, and I was surprised by the beauty outside my dream. Before the embroidery door is opened, the curtain hooks ring, and the 10-layer gauze tent is blocked by spring. Yang Wen-song, the lower official, came early to congratulate Brother Ho. You see, the courtyard door is closed and the maidservants are silent, thinking that they have not yet risen from their deep sleep. Calling Jia, Bauer, you go to the newlyweds' window and say I came early to say hello. Miscellaneous, I went to bed late last night. You may not get up today. Master, please come back and come back tomorrow. Su Ziasuk, nonsense. Go and ask quickly. Xiaodan Naiwenji, Bauer. Which one is coming? Miscellaneous, it's Mr. Yang who is here to congratulate you. Xiaodan is busy. The spring night is short when leaning on the pillow, but there are many good things to do when knocking on the door. Seeing the introduction, thank you, sir, this has become my child's lifelong marriage. And it's easy to say. Ask the introduction, have you ever gotten up as a newcomer? Xiaodan, I slept late last night and didn't even get up yet. Asking to sit down, sir, please take a seat. Let me hurry him up. And, no need, no need. Xiaodanxia. Bu jiao, and, children are as passionate as flowers, they are happy and have no other thoughts, and they share the same sweet and dark place. But thanks to my help, the pearls are splendid, the robes are floating, and every piece of makeup is given to me. Hang out the romantic list. Xiaodan enters. It's funny, it's funny. The two of them were intertwining lilacs and shining on water chestnuts. They had just finished washing but not yet dressed. Invite the master to go to the bridal chamber with you and call him out so that he can drink Fu Tu Mao wine. End. Shocked but sweet dream, deeply offended. Same as below. Sheng and Dan put on beautiful makeup. Intoxicated by the east wind, Sheng, Dan, the clouds and the rain have just scratched my heart. Who stirred it up? Sleeping Mandarin duck. Being turned over by the red waves, I am full of joy in a hurry. The lingering fragrance on the pillow, the lingering fragrance on the handkerchief, the ecstasy taste, can only be tasted in dreams. And, Xiaodan enters. And, sure enough, I'm up, congratulations, congratulations. Sit down and introduce. And, I made a clumsy sentence last night, but I still said it in a charming way. Xing Yasuki, thank you. Ziasuk, what's wonderful is that it's wonderful. There's only one thing. Last, which one? Shangjuan is small, but he still deserves to be hidden in a golden house. Look at the sleeves, how can I fit the sleeves of a young student's shirt? Zhu Xiaojia, if you come to seal your love at the end of the night, there will be a masterpiece. Born. He rushes to blame and doesn't dare to ask for advice. And, where is the poem? Dan, the poem is on the fan's head. Taking out the fan from his sleeve. Finally looking at the fan, it's a white gauze palace fan. Smell, the smell is interesting. Introduction to poetry, wonderful, wonderful. Only Xiangjuan is worthy of this poem. Fu Dongjia, I've put it away. Dan closes the fan. Good garden, and the fragrant peach and plum fragrance are all inscribed on the palace gauze fan. For fear of being blown by the strong wind, you must hide it tightly in your sleeves. It must be hidden tightly in the sleeves. Last looking at Dansuk, look at Xiangjuan. She looks even more beautiful after she goes up to her head. Xiang Xingjia, world brother, I am blessed to eliminate this beauty. Xiangjuan is so beautiful and beautiful. Today I have put some pearls and green flowers on it. Wearing a Chilua outfit, it looks very pretty and adds another dimension. It is really cute. Xiaodan, it's all thanks to Master Yang's help. Jiang water was delivered to the head brocade, a treasure chest, and a tasseled tent surrounded by beads and emerald green. The silver candle cage and gauze are lit all night long, and the golden cup persuades people to drink and sing together. Today I came to see you early, as if you were raising your own child. I paid the dowry and knocked on the door early to see you. Dan, I see that Mr. Yang is a close relative of the governor of Ma. But he is also a guest in a pinch, so why waste money to fill the hole of fireworks? I am ashamed of what I have received in my slave's house, but my master has given me nothing to show for it. I want to ask you clearly today so that I can repay you. But he is also a guest in a pinch, so why waste money to fill the hole of fireworks? I am ashamed of what I have received in my slave's house, but my master has given me nothing to show for it. I want to ask you clearly today so that I can repay you. Xiangjuan's question is reasonable. My younger brother and brother Yang have met each other by chance. Yesterday, I felt so deeply attached to each other that I felt uneasy. And, since I was asked about it, I had no choice but to tell the truth. These dowries and banquets cost about 200 gold, all made by Huai Ning. That Huai Ning? And Wan Yuan Hai, who once served as Guanglu. Sheng, is that Wan De Sheng from Anhui? And, exactly. Sheng, why is he being so arrogant? And, it's just a wish to accept the submission. 5 offerings, and, I envy you for your elegant appearance and your reputation in Dong Luo. Articles from the Western Han Dynasty. Ingratiation is everywhere, and people vie to see the driver in the car. Qinhuai is a wonderful place. I am temporarily looking for a beautiful woman to be with you. I also want some Mandarin duck quilts and hibiscus makeup. Who is it? Who is it? It is the southern neighbor Derwan, who is busy with wedding clothes. Born. Wan Yuan is my old uncle, and my younger brother despises him as a human being and has been away from him for a long time. He used emotion for no reason today, which is puzzling. And Yuan Lao had a difficult time, and he wanted to see everything in vain with just one step. Student asked for advice. End. Mr. Yuan visited Xiaomengbai's gate that day, and he turned out to be my generation. Later, he made friends with Wei Dang, just to save Dong Lin. Unexpectedly, when Wei Dang was defeated, Dong Lin turned against him. Recently, various members of the society have started to advocate attacks and wanton beatings and humiliations. Could it be that they are fighting against each other? Although Yuan Lao has many old friends, because of his suspicious behavior, there is no one to tell the difference on his behalf. Every day I cried loudly to the sky and said, "The same kind kills each other. I am so sad and miserable. No one but the Marquis of Hunan can save me." So today I pay my dues earnestly. Sheng, so that's how it is. I see Yuan Hai's passionate words and feel pitiful. Even if it is true that Wei Dang repented and returned, he should not go too far, since his crime was excusable. Dingsheng, second tale. They are all my best friends. When we meet tomorrow, we will break up. And, as expected, our party is lucky. Dan Nuji, how officials talk. Wanda Sheng clings to power and becomes an adulterer, losing all his integrity. Women and girls are all scolded. Others attack it, but the official rescues it. How can the official find himself? Don't think, speak easily. We must eliminate disasters with him, we must eliminate disasters with him, and we should also be aware of the shortcomings of others. The official's intention. However, because he helped me with my dowry, he wanted to do favoritism and deprive the public. But you know that these hairpins and dresses are not in my eyes, Mr. Xiang. However, because he helped me with my dowry, he wanted to do favoritism and deprive the public. But you know that these hairpins and dresses are not in my eyes, Mr. Xiang. Pull out the hairpin and take off your clothes, take off your skirt and shirt. It's okay if you are poor. People who are clothed with thorns have a fragrant name. And, Xiangjuan's temperament is also strong. Xiaodan, it's a pity that all the good things are thrown away. Shiji, okay. This kind of knowledge is not as good as mine. I am really afraid of my friends. To Soosuk, brother, don't be weird. It's not that I don't understand, but I'm afraid that women will laugh at me. Qinxiang, Pingkong Lane, he can tell the story. He is the court of our school. He is the court of our school. He mixes with virtuous and traitors regardless of youth. Those social friends who respect me as a nobleman are just for this little bit of loyalty. If I am attached to evil spirits, then they will attack in groups and I will not be able to save myself. How can I save others? Sections and names are not common, heavy and light, need to be carefully examined. End. The good intentions of the old man should not be too intense. Sheng, even though I am extremely stupid, I will not save anyone from the well. And, in this case, the younger brother took his leave. These boxes and cages were originally belongings to the Ruan family. Mr. Xiang does not use them, so it is useless to keep them. Just ask for it. And, it is precisely, passionate people will be annoyed by ruthlessness, and those who take advantage of the joy will return it after all the joy. Part 2, Dan Nuajia, Danjia. I look at Xiangjuan, the beauty of the sky and the beauty of the country. I picked a few pearls and took off a set of beautiful clothes, and I looked very beautiful. Add another 10 points and feel even more lovely. Xiaodan, having said that, it is a pity to have given up so many things. Add another 10 points and feel even more lovely. Xiaodan, having said that, it is a pity to have given up so many things. Ending, I gently put the golden pearl in my hand, and became a coquettish and infatuated person, letting me live up to my hard work as a mother. Give birth to something necessary. No need to worry about it, Shaoxing still pays for it. Xiaodan, it's better to wait. Xiao Dan spends money and money to discuss. Den doesn't matter if he wears skirts and hairpins. Sheng, only Xiangjuan can wear it. Dan, Fengbiao doesn't know how to wear it. The 8th chapter, Noisy Pavilion, Guiwei Mei. Golden Rooster crows. At the end, Shaoxing pretends to be Chen Zhenhui and Wu Yingji. At the end, Qinhuai is close to Gong Yuan, and Qingjin is competing, leaving only a few gold and powder. Shaoxing, the Dragon Boat Festival only lasts for a moment, and the eyes are full of prosperity. Wang Xia asked the young man. The last call is Zia Shengji, brother Tsiwei. You and I are depressed when we stay in the hotel. We are here for the Huaihe Appreciation Festival. Why don't we see anyone from the same company? Wang Xia asked the young man. The last call is Zia Shengji, brother Tsiwei. You and I are depressed when we stay in the hotel. We are here for the Huaihe Appreciation Festival. Why don't we see anyone from the same company? Shaoxing, thinking of everything, is on the light boat. Just in time to climb up and overlook. A river house is set up on the field, with hanging lights and curtains. Tong Dingjia. Mo Huangjia, is Ding Jaleo at home? Enter the children in mixed costumes. The pomegranate flowers are as red as fire, and the moxa leaves are as green as smoke. See the introduction. It turned out to be Chen and Wu, the 2 ministers. My master went to the Lantern Festival. A banquet is prepared at home, but when guests come, anyone can sit down casually. And, so interesting. Shaoxing can be said to be a good thing for the master. And, we are gathering here, for fear that some vulgar people may wander in. He couldn't help but try to reject him. Call for introduction. The boy brings a lantern. Exit the miscellaneous response and take the lantern. Introduction written at the end. Restore social culture. Idlers are not allowed to enter. Introduction to hanging lanterns. Shaoxing, if friends from the same company are here. It's time to invite him to join the party. End, exactly. Miscellaneous Jijia, listen to the drumming, the lightship has already arrived. At the end, Shaoxing leans on the railing to watch the introduction. Sheng and Danya make up the same ugly makeup as Lu Jingting and Jing as Su Kuansheng, play the drum board and ride on the boat. 8 sounds of Ganzhou and silk and bamboo are faintly visible, carrying a team of black hats and red skirts in the future. The natural charm reflects the slanting willow trees. Famous ladies also need celebrities, so it is better to paint a boat next to a pavilion. Shaoxing, dispel the soul, take advantage of the night to cool down the fairy couple. Moziji, that light boat looks like Ho Chaozong. Shaoxing, Ho Chaozong is a fellow member of our club and should be invited to join the club. Introduction at the end, that female guest is Li Shangjuan. Is it okay to invite her? Shaoxing. Li Shangjuan didn't accept Wanhu's dowry, but he was actually a friend of Fuxia, so why not invite him? And, speaking of which, referring to, the 2 singers Lu Jingting and Su Kuansheng were unwilling to be Wanhu's disciples. They are all friends from Fuxia. Please come upstairs, it's even more interesting. Shaoxing, wait until I call him. Calling Jia, brother Ho Shi, brother Ho Shi. Sheng Wang Jianjia, the people calling me loudly on the waterside pavilion were Chen Dingsheng and Wu Tsiwei. Kosuka, please. At the end of the wave, he introduced, this is Ding Jiji's waterside pavilion. There is a banquet prepared. Brother Ho, Xiangjuan, Jingting, and Kuansheng have all come upstairs to enjoy the festival. Is the best. Xiangqiu, Jing, and Danjia, let's go upstairs together. Bukatan Shangsuk, song rehearsal. Sheng and Dan, dragon boats merge together, paddles are drawn separately, sunflowers and cattail leaves fill the golden cups. The zhulu is dense, the purple barrier is even, and the flute and drum are played into the clouds. Introduction. Last, the arrival of the four has indeed become a restoring society and cultural society. What is restoring social and cultural society? Shaoxing refers to Dengsuk, please look. Xinkan Lantern Introduction. I didn't know that there will be a text today, but I came just in time. Ugly, no idlers allowed in, we are being too rude. Shaoxing, you don't want to be a guest of the Ruan family. Isn't that a friend from Fusha? Sheng, is Xiangjuan also a friend of Fusha? Shaoxing, Xiangjuan asked for the dowry, but I'm afraid that my friends who have returned to society will still be able to give in. And, now it's time to call him Lao Shi's sister-in-law. Dan Xiasuk. How dare. Mo Huanjia, boy, please pour the wine and we will enjoy the festival. Mo, Shaoxing, and Xing sit on one side, Cho, Jing, and Dan sit on the other side. Drinking introduction. Bashing Ganzhou, Mo, Shaoxing, blind date, romantic and handsome, everyone in the seat is full of words laughing at spring warmth. Ugly. Jing, Liang is worried about Sui's hatred, and his yen is annoyed and Orioles are angry. Sheng, Dan, the pomegranate blossoms shine on the building like fire, and the heat sweat can hardly touch the white jade woman. Miscellaneous newspaper introduction. The lightship is coming, the lightship is coming. Introduction. Look at the huge crowds of people surrounding a candle dragon. Take a quick look. Everyone stands up and leans on the railing to watch the introduction, demonstrates a light boat, hangs 5 color horn lanterns, and goes around the venue several times with loud drums. Ugly, you see, it is so gorgeous. It is the home of a prince, a noble, and a noble guard. He also dressed up as a light boat and hung 5 color gauze lanterns. Beat them 10 times, go around the field several times. Net, these are some wealthy businessmen, and they are in the Yamen office, but they are also busy. He also pretends to be a lantern boat and hangs 5 color paper lanterns, making them 10 times finer and circling the scene several times, and, look at the people eating wine on the boat. They are all old gentlemen from the Imperial Academy. Shaoxing, the behavior of my generation is a bit skinny on a cold island in the countryside. Everyone laughs, combined, there are many different things, looking at the golden waves, Tianhan and Tianjin. The night is getting deeper and the light boats have passed. When we write a poem, we live up to our promise to write a poem. And, yes, but I don't know what topic to do. Shaoxing, it would be interesting to write a poem about mourning for Hunan. In my humble opinion, it is better to couplet sentences with scenes, which will make me feel more relaxed. Last, wonderful. Wonderful. Ask the introduction, who among the 3 of us will marry? Sheng, naturally let brother Dingsheng get married. Cho Wenjia, the 3 husbands and wives spent the night together. Can the 3 of us take a nap together? And, also has a point of reference. Jing, what's the use? End. Every time we make 4 rhymes and drink a glass of wine, you will play it once. Interesting, interesting. It was truly a gathering of wine, music and music. Su Gongsuk, the younger brother, actually arrogated. Injia, appreciation of the Qinhuai Pavilion, discussing the heart drama of the Mencius. Shaoxing. Yellow leaves are covered with gold, and red flowers are blooming. Why try the Poo's sword? Kuei Xian is not willing to let it go. And, when a soldier emerges, he gets a ray of color, but a ghost gets the cinnabar. In the late, junior and senior years, drinking wine, Cho hitting the gong, playing the yuaqin, Dan playing the flute once. Shaoxing. The mirage buildings are misty, and the Hongqiao cave is winding and slanted. Sheng, the lamp is controlled by the Shi family, and the boat is held by the dragon. At the end, the stars have just left the sea, and the glass has been refined. Shaoxing, the light flows through the silver Han River, and the shadow moves through the clouds of Akaji. Photo introduction. Raw, Yushu is difficult to photograph. Yuyang does not know Laos. And, in the year of the turtle, the flute and pipe are played loudly, and the zither and lute are played in the middle. Shaoxing, there are thousands of brocades on the cables, and thousands of gauze on the windows. Sheng, the catalpa tree stops and the bucket is poured, and the porcelain note is poured out for tea. Photo from the introduction. And, the flames are more powerful than the burning peppers, and the sounds are the same. Shaoxing, lightning and thunder compete this night. Who will be left with pearls and emeralds? The fireflies shine in an uninhabited garden, and the crows crow in a tree yamen. And, after the people on the fence dispersed, they wrote poems to mourn in Changsha. Shaoxing, lightning and thunder compete this night. Who will be left with pearls and emeralds? The fireflies shine in an uninhabited garden, and the crows crow in a tree yamen. And, after the people on the fence dispersed, they wrote poems to mourn in Changsha. Introduced by Zhao Qian, introduced by everyone, and, interesting, interesting. It actually forms 16 rhymes. It can be engraved tomorrow. Shaoxing, we advocated and got a lot of emotion. They blew up the infinite desolation. Downstairs in the boat, no one could understand it. Jingxiang Chojia, no more gossiping. Since ancient times, good nights are short. Victories are rare. The two of us were singing songs, while the two husbands, Chen and Wu, were persuading him to drink wine and invite him to be a celebrity or beauty. How about having another romantic meeting? Ugly, this is what we are doing to help others. End. My second brother and I have a common destiny, so we should show less respect. Shaoxing, please sit down one by one. Sheng and Dan sit upright, Mo and Shaoxing sit on the left, Cho and Jing sit on the right. Xing Xiangdan introduces, in line with everyone's elegance, let me sit on the gum side by side. It's quite interesting to have another round of double cups. Dan smiled and introduced. At the end of the day, Shaoxing persuaded to drink, Jing and Cho sang to introduce. Singing song, the song has just begun, the lamp is not dimmed, the beauty regains her jade spirit. The poem is written on the wall, the wine is on the lips, and the talented man speaks tenderly. Miscellaneous news, the lightship is coming again. Last, it's already 3 o'clock at night, why are there still lightships? Both get up and lean on the railing to watch the introduction. The deputy Jing pretends to be Ruan de Shang and rides on a light boat. He plays the role of a distinguished person and plays and sings slowly. Jing, this boat looks like some old white men. Everyone, wash your ears and appreciate it carefully. Vice Chairman Jingli said to himself on the bow of the boat. Wanda Shang bought a boat and sang songs, and I was planning to go out early to enjoy the trip. But I was afraid that I would encounter some frivolous fights, so I came here in the middle of the night, which is so annoying. Referring to. There are still lights in the Ding family's river house. Call for introduction, boy, who is here? Come ashore to read and report back. The lanterns read, restore social civilization, idlers are not allowed to enter. Vice Jing Jingsuk, amazing, amazing. Wagsitsuk. Stop playing music and put out the lights. Turn out the lights, stop blowing, and quietly punt the boat down. And, it was such a light boat, why did it stop singing, extinguish the lights, and quietly go away? Shaosheng, this is also strange, if you look at it quickly. Ugly, no need to look at it. Although my old eyes are dim, I have already seen the truth. That beard is Ruan Yuan Hai. Jing, my way of singing is so different. Monyasuk, what a bold old slave. Maybe he comes to play in front of the Gongyuan. Shaosheng. When I go, I will pluck his beard. Want to introduce? Xing stopped introducing. Come on, come on. Since he avoids it, we don't have to do anything for ourselves. And, Brother Ho, if I don't know what I am doing, he will do it. Ugly, the ship has gone far, so let's throw it away. Shaosheng will benefit from this beard. Dan, it's already dark, let's all disperse. Ugly, Sister Xiang misses her mother, so we will send her back. Mo, Shaosheng, the two of us will stay here instead of going back to our apartment. Sheng, the two brothers neither returned to their apartment. For those of us who have crossed the boat, let's just say goodbye. Please. Mo, Shaosheng, please. Get off first. Sheng, Dan, Cho, and Jing get off the boat, and the boat is about to be introduced. Yuan, when we go down to the balcony, all the tourists are gone. The boat can save the whole family, but I am afraid that the bottom of the flower will be difficult to knock out late at night door. The moon is setting and the smoke is thick. The road is not real. Dan, the red part of the small building is the east neighbor. Ugly, Qinhuai is filled with water for a mile, clean, spring sails send beauties in the middle of the night. The 9th chapter, Fu Bing, Gui Wei July, Dian Crimson Lips, Fu Jing, Mo pretends to be the second general. Enter 4 soldiers in miscellaneous disguises. The flag is curled in the teeth of the army, and the crossbow is fired at the tide to scare the whale salamander. Playing with the bow and testing the horse, under the setting sun. We are the soldiers under the command of Marshal Ning Nanho who are guarding Wuchang. Today's date is clicked. The marshal has been promoted, so he has to wait here. Blowing to open the door. Pink butterfly, Shaoxing military uniform, pretending to be Zhuo Lianyu, is 7 feet tall, with a tiger's head and swallow's jaws like a painting, a reckless man traveling all over the world. Riding people alive, flying and eating meat, the wind and clouds are powerful. Repay the kindness of the country with passion and passion. Jianya blows the trumpet without hearing the noise, and at 30 he ascends the altar and is respected by all. The family spends 10,000 gold to pay the man to die, but he keeps a sword on his body to repay the king's kindness. Our family's Wuliangyu, whose cousin is Kunshan, lives in Liaoyang and has been the capital for generations. Just because he was offended, he was dismissed from his post and replenished food to make peace. Fortunately, he met Ho Sun of the army, and he was separated from the soldiers and appointed as a war general. Within a year, he became an officer of the general army. Conquering the north and conquering the south, the merits of Ho Bo were increased. Strong troops and horses were used to control Jingxiang. Acting as a gesture. Look at me, Zhuoliangyu, who has learned martial arts since he was a child. He can draw a 5-stone bow and is good at shooting from the left and right. How can it be difficult to exterminate the thieves Li Zicheng and Zhang Xianzhong? I can only regret that there is no supervisor and I missed the opportunity. Xiong Wencan. Yang Xikang failed because of partiality, and Ding Qirui and Lu Daqi failed because of laziness. Only I, a kind and handsome Ho Gong, with both wisdom and bravery, can manage the Central Plains to the best of my ability. I don't want to be a traitor and avoid merit, so I will stop using it immediately. It makes me so passionate that I can never wait to repay my master, so I hate it so much. Pauses. Come on, come on, come on. Hunan and Hubei can still be fought and defended. We will wait and see the success or failure before we decide where to hide. Sit down and introduce. All the soldiers inside were shouting, and the young man was surprised and asked about introduction. Who is making any noise outside the camp gate? Deputy Jing, Mo Chuanjia, report to the marshal. The camp gate is quiet. Who dares to make a noise? Shaoxing Nuji, there is so much noise now. How can we not repay it? Fu Jing, Mo, that was a hungry soldier asking for pay, not making a noise. Shaoxing, ouch. I borrowed 30 ships of grain from Hunan before, but in less than a month, it was all delivered. Deputy Jing, Mo, reported to the marshal that there are already 300,000 men and horses in this town. Some of them need food and grass, which will be enough to cover expenses. Xiaoxing's introduction to the case, haha. This is also difficult to wait for. Stand up and sing introduction. Northern pomegranate flower, you see the jackals and tigers in the Central Plains are in chaos, all spying on the emperor's house in Longlu and Fengke, who is diligent in reporting to the king and willing to take the righteous flag. There are no veteran generals in the governor. The selected scholars are all darlings, but they teach me how to be self-reliant. They are full of murderous intent, and the military rations have been in short supply for a long time. There were bursts of clapping and shouting, and bursts of clapping and shouting. He taught me how to answer in his busy schedule. It's like being in the office during the day. Sitting down. Calling Jia inside again. Shaoxing, you hear the soldiers outside getting louder and louder, as if they are about to rebel. Follow my orders to the left and right. Stand up and sing introduction. Go up to the small building. Don't blame our family wrongly. Don't blame our family wrongly. Who is not the dog and horse of the celestial dynasty? He has been good at raising people for 300 years, and he has been good at raising people for 300 years. You have to slap your conscience. Why do you beat the drums and knock on the door and make a fuss? If you dare, you will rob the treasury and rob the government office. I'm here looking eagerly, I'm here looking eagerly. waiting for Jiangzhou's military rations to fly down. Sitting down. Drawing arrows and throwing them on the ground. Vice clean, picking up arrows at the end, and pointing inward, the marshal has an order. Listeners to the three armies, the current lack of military pay is due to the large number of men and horses who have returned, not the lack of food and grass. The court's deep kindness must be repaid, the general's strict orders must be obeyed. Huang Jiangxi is helping people pay, and the sun is coming to the camp, so everyone should listen quietly. Don't make any noise. Deputy Jing, Mahuehuajia, following the marshal's military order, all the three armies have been informed. He shouted again. Shaosheng, why is the noise gradually coming to the camp gate? Go and give the order. Stand up and sing an introduction, Huanglong prisoner. Just bear with your hunger all night and look forward to those days in Jiangxi. I am about to fly to Jinling, I am about to fly to Jinling. Tell the military commander to convey the message to the driver, and allow us to move to the town and move our home. Allow us to move to the town and move our home. Just go east for food. We set up camp, rested our horses, and sailed a boat to Yanziji to play. Fu Jing, Mo holds the command arrow and points inward to command. The marshal has an order, and the three armies listen. As soon as the grain ship arrives, it will be dispatched. I am still afraid that the transportation will be difficult and I will be hungry. Soon we will withdraw from Hankow and eat in Nanjing. There will never be any fear of shortage and we will enjoy the joy of fullness together. Everyone should listen quietly and stop making noise. Introduction to cheers, okay, okay, okay. Everyone packs up and prepares to go east. Fu Jing, Mo Hui Xingjia. Reporting to the marshal, upon hearing the order, the three armies cheered and dispersed. Shaosheng, things have become like this. We have no choice but to move to the town at a selected time to temporarily comfort the morale of the army. Want to introduce, stay here, but without following the clear decree, you just go ahead on your own, even though the Holy Grace is generous. He may not necessarily be punished, I'm just afraid that the world will inevitably discuss his actions. It's not a trivial matter, let's discuss it again. And there is no other way to comfort the three armies. I only need food and noise. Who knows that I am a sunflower leaning towards a sunflower? Down. I'm going to play and beat to close the door, and the four pawns are out. Deputy Jing Xiangma, brother, let's discuss it with the brothers. The world's strong soldiers and brave generals will make me Wu Chang. Tomorrow I will go eastward with the current, and no one will resist me. Everyone embraced the marshal. As long as Nanjing is robbed, why not raise the yellow flag and advance towards Beijing? Finally shaking hands to introduce, we, Grandpas Hua, are loyal people. Let's not talk about such gossip. According to me, it is better to move home to get food. It is better to have a full meal. Fu Jing, you don't know that once you move to Nanjing, people will panic, so you won't move to Beijing. This bad reputation is inevitable. And, one after another, the soldiers are willing to move home. Video Jing. There are dusk bamboos in the Shiliu camp. End. The heroes of the ages must fight against each other, and the shipowner of the Fujing Tower will have a bad life in the next life. The 10th chapter Ziaza, Guiwei August, ugly disguised as Lu Jingting, I boasted in the world, collecting the present and selling the past is my life. I have been afraid of being a guest of a wealthy family for many years. Sit in the neighborhood and eat cold tea. Laughter. I am Lu Jingting, who has been homeless since he was a child and has been living in the world. Although he is a talker, he is not a person of food and drink. Gongsuk, you all look at me like a king of Yama. Holding this big account book, he counted the names of countless ghosts. He was also like a Maitreya Buddha, carrying this big belly, containing the infinite warmth and coldness of the world. When the drum board is tapped lightly, there will be wind, thunder, rain, and dew. Only then will the tongue and lips move. It also becomes the spring and autumn festival. These filial sons and loyal ministers who had been wronged could not help but be proud of themselves. The triumphant and evil party would inevitably inflict disasters on them. This was the small power of redress. It is also a wonderful use of praise and ridicule. Laughter. I, Lu Matzi, talk nonsense, but I also get angry. Yesterday Mr. Ho from Hunan delivered tea supplies and agreed to come this afternoon to listen to Pinghua and take out the drum board. Make a profit by attracting customers. Take out the drum board and beat the song to introduce. Having nothing to do and gossiping will make you feel sour and sweet. It has been thousands of years, but it has disappeared in a blink of an eye. There were several violent storms, and various barracks and dragon boats were sailing. The fight for fame and fortune made him fall asleep. Look for pink and white in the grass and smoke, and speak of heroes in the shadows of the setting sun. Today I came to listen to Lao Lu Ping's talk. The drums and drums in it were sonorous, and someone had already learned his lesson. Introduction to meeting and laughing. None of the officials have arrived, so I am here alone, telling no one to listen to. Ugly. Storytelling is an old man's profession. For example, if your husband sits in his study, plays the piano and recites poems, does anyone want to listen? Xing Xiaojia makes sense. Ugly. Which story do you want to hear today? Sheng, no matter what the occasion is, you can just say it lively and cheerfully. Ugly, my husband doesn't know, but that lively situation is the root of indifference. Happy things are like tangled branches and leaves. It would be better to say a few words about the leftover mountains and lonely ministers, and make everyone shed some tears. Xing sighs, cough. Unexpectedly, Jing Lao, you have also seen this field, which is really worrying. At the end, he pretended to be Yang Wen-song and went up in a hurry. The iron chain of suspension of teaching sank to the bottom of the river, fearing that if the flag was lowered, a stone would appear. The lower official, Yang Wen-song, has an urgent matter and wants to consult Brother Ho for advice. After asking all the way, he knew that if he was here, he would inevitably come in unexpectedly. It's just the right time for everyone to listen and respect the elders. Sujasuk, at this time, I still listen to plain words. Sheng, why is Mr. Long so panicked? It's just the right time for everyone to listen and respect the elders. Sujasuk, at this time, I still listen to plain words. Sheng, why is Mr. Long so panicked? Last, brother, don't you know that Zhuo Yangyu led his troops eastward to capture Nanjing? And there is the intention of spying on Beijing. My soldier Xiong Mingyu was at a loss, so he asked his brother to come and ask for some advice. What's your plan, little brother? And, I have heard for a long time that Mr. Zun Wang is the benefactor of Ningnan. If you are willing to issue an edict, we'll be able to retreat. Don't know what to do. Sheng, How could he not do such a good deed? But my father retired from politics and lived in the forest. Even if he was willing to publish books, it might not be helpful. And if we travel 3,000 miles back and forth, how can we solve the current crisis? End. My brother has always been known as a heroic hero. How can I bear to sit back and watch this important national event? Why don't you write a book on your behalf to save the present? If you report it to the wise man someday, you won't be blamed. Emergency contingency is feasible. I will start the draft when I return to my apartment. Let's discuss it. And it's not too late to issue the letter immediately. I'm afraid it won't be in time. We'll wait for discussion there. Student, if this is the case, then just revise the book. Write a book introduction. A letter, I am foolish and I advise the general to think for himself. Wait a moment for the flag, the soldiers are guessing on the unknown road. Emperor Gao had left the capital with mausoleum trees, but who would dare to put his horse to the curb? He was short of food and firewood, but he was good at making arrangements, and he was so loyal that he could not change it. Finish writing, don't read the introduction at the end, wonderful. Written passionately and tactfully. It is reasonable to ask him not to obey, but he dare not to obey, which shows that Xixiang is economical. Sheng, having said this, it should be sent to Xiong de Sima to make detailed corrections before it is completely correct. And, don't bother. Just wait until the younger brother tells him. Chojia, it's just one thing. Even though I have the book, it would be best if the person in charge who is missing one should send it early. My little brother travels lightly, with only 2 children, so I can get as many books as I can. And this is the secret letter. How can a stranger get there? Sheng, there is nothing we can do about it. Ugly, don't be too busy, just let me, Lao Lu, go away for a while. And, respecting the old man and being willing to go is wonderful, just cross-examining him all the way is not a joke. Ugly. How can a stranger get there? Sheng, there is nothing we can do about it. Ugly, don't be too busy, just let me, Lao Lu, go away for a while. And, respecting the old man and being willing to go is wonderful, just cross-examining him all the way is not a joke. Ugly. To tell you the truth, my surname is Lu Motzi. Although I am 9 feet tall, I refuse to eat millet. The verbal ability to adapt to changing situations and the physical strength to rush left and right are still there. Born. I heard that Zhuoliangyu's military gate was serious and no visitors from the mountain were allowed to enter without permission. How did you get there if you are so old? Ugly, my husband is here to provoke me again. I heard that Zhuoliangyu's military gate was serious and no visitors from the mountain were allowed to enter without permission. How did you get there if you are so old? Ugly, my husband is here to provoke me again. This is my familiar storyteller trick. As long as my old man wants to go. If it doesn't stop, it depends on the strength of the stimulus. Kiwenji. Beta Quail, where you write the prose, I here draw the plans. Chatting with the heroes will make me incompetent. Louis passes the letter, why not go to the sea? Forget my dementia. Use my humor to quietly come and go, and be cheered by thousands of people. And, it's really a good skill, but the meaning in the book needs you to understand and explain it in order to be helpful. Purple flower preface, ugly, the meaning in the book does not need to be explained in detail, so why do you understand it clearly? Fee my lips and cheeks. Even if you go on an errand with nothing, you will still behave well. With the tip of my tongue, I scolded his men and horses away, but they still fell back 800 miles away. Student, why did you scold him? Ugly, asked him to guard against thieves and commit thieves himself. It should and should not. Okay. It's clearer than my calligraphy. And, go in quickly and pack your luggage. I'll bring you the money. You must leave the city tonight. Ugly, I know. Gong Shuji. No more companionship. Exit. And, I didn't know that Lu Jingting was a useful talent. Sheng, I always praise him as a man of my generation, and storytelling is his other skill. And a letter is written in a timely manner, relying on Yagyu Sheng's quick tongue. Block the return of Marshal Mang, thousands of horses and morning frost, and protect the twilight mist of the 3 mountains of Haojiang City. And, a piece of virtuous talent, born, Jingzhou has no more warships, and, famous people have always praised Jiangzhou, born, has waved his troops and now ascends to the general station. The 11th chapter, Throwing the Chariot, in the 9th month of Guiwei. Jing and Fu Jing pretend to be 2 soldiers. Jing, kill thieves and pick up their bags, save the people and occupy their houses, and serve as officials. In the warehouse, 1 soldier eats 3 grains. Fu Jing, it's not sung like this now. Jing, come and sing. Deputy Jing, the thieves rarely abandon their bags, the people flee and are left with empty houses, the officials are too poor to open their warehouses, and thousands of soldiers have no food. Jing, if you say this, we poor soldiers will really starve to death. Fu Jing, is almost the same. Net, when there was a lot of noise the day before yesterday. The marshal is busy, and he promised us to go to Nanjing. There has been no movement in the past few days, and he has changed his mind again. Fu Jing, he changed his mind, but we are still making noise, so what's the problem? Jing, stop chatting and go to the camp gate to discuss things further. It is precisely, who is willing to break the law if he is not afraid of being starved to death? Both. Beixin Shui Ling, ugly disguised as Lu Jingting, carrying a bag. Walking out of the empty forest, the fallen leaves rustled, and there were clusters of reeds and red polygonum. Wearing a Chongsam hat upside down and a Zhonglu knife across it. With a fluttering white beard, he looks like a witty and cynical oriental old man. I, Lu Jingting, braved the wind and rain and walked along the river. I didn't see any soldiers robbing food. I thought it was a rumor. I'm glad to have arrived outside Wuchang. I couldn't help but open the package under the grass and change my boots and hat so that I could post my book. Sit on the ground and change boots and hats. Namba Bujiao, Deputy Jing, Jingshang, hungry crows scream at the edge of Xiaoyu City, and there is a deserted smoke road, half a mile away from the military camp. Introduction. The flags were blowing in the wind, and the horns of drums were misty. In front of us was the camp gate, and everyone walked a few steps. It's so hard to be hungry, so I still order 3.5 times. Ugly Qi Gongjia, 2 generals, may I ask, is that the general's gate? Jing whispered to Deputy Jing, this old man speaks Jiangbei dialect and is either a deserter or a bandit. Fu Jing, why don't you pack it up, defraud him of a few pennies, and buy some food? Jing, wonderful. Asked by Deputy Jing, are you looking for the general's yamen? Ugly. Exactly. Jing, wait for me to send you there. Throwing the rope around Chojia, Cho, haha. Why did you pick me up? Vice Jing, we are the archers of the Wuchang battalion who specialize in patrolling. If I don't take you, who will I take? Cho Tui Irjing fell to the ground, pointing to Shao Jia. Two lookless Hanako, no wonder they staggered around hungry. Jing, how do you know we are hungry? Ugly, if I don't starve for you, why am I here? Fu Jing, speaking of which, do you dare to come here to relieve the burden? Ugly. It's not about digesting food, it's about doing things. Net, sigh. We are blind. Quickly move your luggage and send me to the camp. Fu Jing, Jing Tong Cho Xingjia. Beija Gailing, Cho, you see the city rests on the surging river, and the Parrot Island is wide. The yellow crane tower is high. The chickens and dogs are lonely, the population is desolate, and the market is depressed. They only feed the jackals, and the good river city is broken and the picture is thrown away. The ears are full of howling, the sound of drums and drums is loud, and the iron horses are arrogant. Vice President Jing Zijiu, this is the gate of the marshal's mansion. Xiaojia, brother is waiting here, waiting for me to pass on the drums. Drumming to introduce. Finally pretending to be an officer of the Central Military Commission, enter. I only know that the marshal is great, but he will not be honored by the emperor if he conquers and punishes him. Ask the introduction. Drums are playing outside the door. If you have any military information, please report it as soon as possible. Net. At this time, a suspicious-looking person was caught in the flood area. He claimed that the food was here, but he didn't know whether it was true or not. He took it to the camp gate and waited for his fate. Final question to Chojia. What official document do you have to say that the grain has been delivered here? Ugly, there is no official document. There are only letters. And, this is suspicious. Nanjiang Airsui, your intention to come from the north is a waste of time. A letter has no name, and the absurd words are full of lies. The military rations arrived out of thin air. He changed his mind for no reason and looked at his expression. Most of them had to escape or be stolen. Ugly, this is wrong. If you are running away or stealing, why are you looking for trouble? And, said the same thing.